What's going on, everyone? Fourth and Inches back with another episode of the podcast. We are to episode 5. Is that right? 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, episode 5 already. Can't believe it's gone so quick. Yeah. Thanks to everyone for the support so far, especially on Facebook. We have now hit how many followers, Dan?
235.
Yeah. So keep up with that, man. Yeah, I'm just going to introduce everyone again, as I've been told that I don't do that enough on previous podcasts. So, over to you, boys.
How are we?
Come on, fucking go.
Didn't want to talk over the top of each other, did we?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Liam, Nick, Carl, how are we, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm good.
All good, man. All good.
Ace, how are you?
I'm well, mate. Well, yeah, can't complain too much. Back to work. I've been back to work this week, so it feels a bit more normal.
Yeah,
Even though it was only 3 days, it feels a bit more normal going back to work, and I feel like we're coming out of the other side now.
Yeah, man. I went back into the office yesterday, and I must admit, as I put the key in the door, I did do that. Here we go again.
Yeah, you realise,
It's like, oh god.
Does it feel like you've been off the floor?
like, going back to work was honestly, it was painful though, because all that went through my head was, God, I wish I was at home.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, I was so glad to be back at work.
It's structure, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I've missed. I mean, I've done nothing. I'm still not back at work. The missus has been at work this week. She had, 12 days off, I think. So she's been back at work this week, so I've literally just been GTA 5.
Such a good game.
It's so good. It's so good.
Played far too much Xbox now, as people would have seen on my Facebook status. I'm not even joking. I was walking the dog earlier. There was a glint off the window, and I legit thought, "Shit, sniper!" Inside my head, I'm not even joking. I actually flinched inside my own head, and then I was like, "I need to go back to work." I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Mate, there's certain.
I said to you boys, my head's been all over the gaff for the last 3 days, and that is the epitome of how I feel. Some poor old biddies outside a window sniping at me. For no
Sorry,
reason.
mate. I'm surprised I haven't robbed a car yet.
Fucking yeah. Honestly, I
We
can't.
don't
wait.
encourage that.
No.
No.
Walking
Two
down the
NFL
street
stars
in a
got into
naked.
trouble over that, haven't they? Over robbery.
Yeah.
Which one was it that told their mate to actually shoot someone? By the way.
That was Baker.
Fucking hell. Like,
Yeah, we'll get into that.
yeah.
Because we got to talk about the getaway cars as well, because that's just entertainment.
Oh mate, like it's ridiculous.
It's
I don't
entertainment.
think I've looked into this story enough.
Not have I.
Oh,
Not
Nick,
really.
wait till you hear
Nick.
what I've got to tell you, mate.
Yeah, I won't like
Oh,
delve
wait,
into
yeah, don't
too
spoil
much.
it. Don't
But-
spoil it.
We'll get onto it.
They stole a significant amount of money, and the getaway cars were. It just doesn't make sense.
Hype.
It doesn't make sense.
Oh,
Look
mate,
forward to it.
we'll tell
I
you,
look
mate.
forward to it. I'm literally just in the headlines,
Yeah.
so that's it. Not looked
Right.
into it.
But yeah, I think what we'll do is start off where we started last week in terms of recap on tight end position. I do need to upload that video. I'll apologise to everyone that it's a little bit late. I've been very, very busy. But that'll be up tomorrow morning for defo. And then we will move on to our next position of NFL basics, which will be the running back, and we'll hand that over to Liam. But for now, over to Niklaus with his new microphone for tight end.
So recapping the tight end, similar, the wide receiver, you've got the two main roles. You've got blocking and catching. As Beef pointed out, it's a good threat when you're in the end zone or when you're about to score points. It's an effective way of scoring points. Bigger guys than your average running backs, big in stature because they got to do the blocking, and they obviously they're good at catching the ball. And I think that pretty much.
They tend to be the character in a dressing room as well.
Yeah,
They're all big personality guys when you look at them. Like when you look at them, especially the main ones, like your Travis Kelce's and you got George Kittle's and stuff like that. They tend to have the biggest character. Gronk, Like they've got the character that you want, and they kind of set the tone for your team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers tight ends.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said before, if anyone wants any more information, just keep dropping us messages and comments, etc., and we will incorporate what we can. Over to you, Mr. Shoering.
Yeah, mate. So running backs this week. I'll try and put it into layman's terms, or not even layman's terms, but normal people terms.
Can you put it into Liam's terms?
You put it into Carl terms.
Oh God, I can't even put it in Liam's terms, let alone your terms.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, running back is an offensive player. His primary role really is to take handoffs from the quarterback and do pretty much the majority of the rushing plays, with the occasional, some teams occasional, some teams more so than others, but short passing downs, that kind of thing. Their objective is to try and basically try and get as much yards as possible on that particular play. That's as simple as I can probably put it, really. I mean, in my opinion, I think every team should have a solid running game. I mean, we've seen teams in the past with a struggling running game. In my opinion, I think teams with a struggling running game would then can tend to find it harder on the passing game, whilst with running and passing, it kind of breaks up the play, keeps defenses guessing as to what they're going to run. But that's probably as basic as I can put a running back. It'd be interesting to see if I've missed anything, which I probably have, from one of you guys.
I find that the running game, what it is, it's about patience for a lot of running backs. Certain running backs, Carl's done me. He's changed his background. It's he knows it as well. But yeah, running backs. It's about patience with running backs. Their main job is to find holes for themselves to drive into, which is created by the offensive line, tight ends, and wide receivers, creating space for them to work themselves into. So they've got to read the defense and which way they're shifting. And then they can find a hole for them to drive into. And as Liam said, it's about the most yards they can gain. And their patience is a massive one. A good one for that is Le'Veon Bell. He tends to hesitate behind the line and just until he sees his hole, and then he'll hit his hole, and it can break off some massive runs. Derrick Henry also shows real good patience when it comes to him getting the rock. While he's a bigger frame guy, he's still wanting that hole so he can break through the contact. And a lot of them arm tackles don't work on somebody that size.
You get different types of running backs, don't you, really? Like, some will, like you said, be patient. Some will literally just bulldoze over whoever they want. Whoever's in front of them, they're doing their best to just bulldoze over them, whether it's trucking past them, stiff-arming them, whatever it may be. Some will be kind of in a Christian McCaffrey role, very elusive, difficult to kind of bring down. Some are just built like a brick shit house. You know, that's why I love the running back position. If I was to be a player on the offense, 100%, I'd be a running back.
The most explosive part of the offense, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of effectiveness with the ball.
Nothing better than seeing a running back break off a 50-yard rush.
Yeah, whereas in some cases throwing the ball can be risk reward. Sometimes that the run game and again, it is circumstantial, but it can a lot of the time be a bit more of a safer play. Yeah.
There's only certain teams. I mean, as you said, like it's good to have a good running game, but like I find it weird. Like if you look at the Chiefs, their running game is pretty much non-existent. I think that it could maybe change this year, but generally their running game isn't that strong. A lot of the times,
LaShawn McCoy didn't they last year?
Yeah, but he didn't do a lot really.
Yeah.
They didn't really do a lot. Like, and they're not really a run-heavy team.
No, I agree. I think a lot of their running came from scrambling from Mahomes, didn't it? Really.
Yeah, they're not really going to run you over. There were games where they score 3 touchdowns from running plays and stuff like that, but no, generally they're not really a rushing offense anyway. But if they become more like, it helps set up passing options and passing plays, and But it's good. It's good to it is good to use your running game, especially in the passing downs. Passing downs, they've become brilliant in. People like Christian McCaffrey. I know in the Patriots, especially when we had Tom Brady, we utilised it a lot because they create the most mismatches because they end up coming like out the backfield, and then they end up on like linebackers and stuff like that, and they'll create a mismatch because they've got more speed than them, and it's harder for them to be covered. And they just because they come out of the backfield, they've got a lot more space between them and the defender.
Mm. Yeah, no. I love running backs, and I think that's probably a good basic overview for people that don't really know what the running back is, or tailback, or halfback, as whatever it's been called over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Favorite running backs. Favorite running back. One each.
Singular.
Go.
McCaffrey. I've got to say it. I love him. Record breaker.
Mine's Le'Veon Bell. I think the guy is exceptional. Like I've always been a Le'Veon Bell fan, and I think his running style is so strong, and his patience is unbelievable. So for me, Le'Veon Bell, and he's unbelievable out of the backfield as well. When he was in Pittsburgh, the opportunities that he created for that offense, just because of how good he was out of the backfield, with both running and catching, it made him such a better side.
That'd be Marshawn Lynch, innit?
I knew he was going to say him.
It's got to be, innit? I tried to think of someone that wasn't him, but everyone that I think of, I compare to him.
Yeah.
I find with running backs, you can as daft as it sounds, I have a bit of a soft spot for running backs. I like quite a few.
Yeah.
Like I really like Alvin Kamara. Love Kerryon Johnson. No idea why.
You've always liked him, haven't you?
Yeah, him and Ronald Jones. I just love the pair of them. I don't know what it is about them. Just love them both. And but to pick a favourite, it's got to be Marshawn Lynch. So
he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably got one of the best highlight reels as a running back.
His run against the Saints.
Oh, the Beastquake. Oh,
yeah, man.
It's
the tank, isn't it?
I think it is difficult with, like Nick said, there's a lot of running backs that are like, I mean, I'm a massive Zeke fan. I'm not sure where Carl was about to go, but Zeke is unbelievable. He is the reason that Dallas are a team. I know that offensive line is outstanding, but oh my God, he's good. And he's so much dependent. Like, they depend on him, whether they want to admit it or not. When Zeke goes off for 100+ yards, they win every game.
Carl?
What about you, Carl?
Derrick Henry. I've always liked him, and then he just fucking went off last year. Like, he was absolute beast, mate. I just fucking love him. He's a tank. And
when he went off,
so many big yards last year as well.
I felt really happy that he had a really good year.
Yeah, because what was it? The year before, he went off for the second half of the year, didn't he?
Yeah.
For the first half of the year, he was non-existent, and all of a sudden, boom, he went off. And I was adamant last year. He'll do the same again. He'll be quiet, and then he'll have a few games towards the end where he just goes off. But
it was almost like no one could really do anything about him either.
No.
Like that run off of games. Like he was just so good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was just class.
Well,
don't get me wrong, I do love McCaffrey as well. Like I followed him a bit before the Panthers got him, and I do like him a lot. Like, hate to admit it, but I do. If there was anyone I'd have from them, it would be him, obviously. But yeah,
the only player, to be honest.
But yeah, mate. Derrick Henry's only been in the league 4 years?
Yeah,
4 years.
Yeah,
Where did you come from? Bama.
Yeah, man.
In 2016.
There's a whole host of them that come from Bama, though. Like, they're like breeding, mate. It's weird. Yeah. It's like Bama and Georgia breed running backs.
That SEC, mate. It's such a run dominant division. That if you haven't got a good running game in that division, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. That conference is made for big lads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Made for.
I think Saquon Barkley as well. I can't mention running backs.
I was about to
mention
say,
The only reason we haven't is because he was injured last year, pretty much, wasn't he? So
even he come back from that quick, didn't he?
Yeah, and the Giants are trash. That's another reason we don't mention him.
But yeah, he's rookie year. Fucking hell. Like, Jesus.
I do like Chubb as well. I reckon he's got a lot of potential.
Massive potential. Obviously, a massive Nick Chubb fan.
I think there's a couple of running backs that are facing big years ahead of them this year as well. I think Todd Gurley's the obvious one.
Yeah.
For me, Sonny Michel. He's got
Big
to establish himself.
I liked him a lot.
You're certain he's going to drop him. If you think if he doesn't have a good year this year, he's going to be canned, don't you, Beaver?
Yeah, because Belichick ain't got patience, mate. If it don't work, and he was really good the year before in the playoffs, especially leading up to the Super Bowl run, he was phenomenal. He just didn't really turn up last year in any game. Really, it was frustrating for me because I drafted him and. I thought he was going to be really good, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I still won the fantasy. Just dropping that in there. But definitely, I think Sonny Michel has got a massive year ahead of him, as well as Todd Gurley coming back from injury. He's gone back to Atlanta. He has to perform this year because he's only on a 1-year deal. Nobody knows about whether his knees can hold up. It's big.
They kept Devontae Freeman as well.
He's gone.
Well, they've gone. All right.
He's on the. He's a free agent. No one's picked him up yet.
It's quite interesting.
I am interested. But speaking of running backs, I think that there's going to be a couple of unique, a team that uses the running backs really well is the 49ers.
They personify the split. The committee backfield, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good running game side. They've got such great options. I'm interested to see how they go this year because a lot of teams will defend them differently now. So it's interesting to see what they can do because I feel like they're going to push, make Garoppolo beat them rather than the run game.
What about Melvin Gordon at Broncos now? Broncos? Yeah, Broncos.
He's on a revenge tour, mate. He signed for the Broncos so he can play the Chargers twice a year.
I'm intrigued by that, to be fair.
He is definitely signed to try and get back at him.
Joe Mixon, I think, is a little bit underrated. AJ Green, I feel sorry for him being at the Bengals.
He does put up numbers, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. He's when he gets his chance, he's efficient. But I do feel for him. So I think this could be an interesting year because I reckon you'll find that he will probably be almost Burrow's initial probably safety valve. I would imagine initially. You know what rookies are like with tight ends and running backs on their first few games. So it'd be interesting to see how Mixon gets on initially.
Nick, who was the running back that came from Wisconsin this year? Is it Taylor?
I think
Jonathan Taylor. Because he signed. I'm pretty sure the Colts picked him up. I'm interested.
Taylor does ring a bell.
I'm interested to see the Colts because obviously they got Marlon Mack, and I'm a massive Marlon Mack fan. I think he's brilliant. But that Taylor is, mate. He creates another aspect for them offensively. So I'm interested.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is Taylor, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Jonathan Taylor. I'm intrigued by Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well.
At the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one piece they were.
Again, are they going to use him as much?
From what I've heard, from what I've been reading,
is he that good as well?
I reckon that he's going to be used,
but is he that good?
I don't know. That's why I'm intrigued by him because I reckon in that offense, I reckon he's got every chance to go off.
Yeah, because you ain't going to fill the box, are you? Because
Mm.
it's just not happening.
What, do you remember when Kareem Hunt first joined the league?
I think he's got to have a big year this year.
It's difficult though. Him and Nick Chubb. That is a potent running attack.
But Nick Chubb went through college playing with, playing with good running backs alongside him. It's nothing new to him. I think it's more Hunt, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, especially with what happened with that video, and he's got to have a good year. I'm trying to think if there's any other running backs I think that are going to jump off the page at us this year. I just don't see.
Yeah, no.
I just don't see. I don't see anyone else. I feel like the Bucks running game needs to be better this year.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, but
again, give. I was about to say I had to stop myself. Like Ronald Jones, I'm telling you, don't sleep on him. Just don't sleep on him.
No, like it's like
you said that 2 years ago.
It's easy. It's easy to say we need a better running game, but like we haven't needed it. It hasn't been in that offense. It wouldn't have had Jameis Winston. Had it been there and Jameis Winston had handed the ball off more, then arguably he'd have threw less interceptions. But can we say that? Probably not. So I don't think it would have increased.
I mean, we can say that.
Anywhere. Huh?
We can say that.
Don't know. He might have fumbled it instead.
I mean, there's that. There is that.
Muff the hand off.
Yeah.
But I think Miami's run game will be improved this year.
Who have they got?
I think they signed Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate.
Okay.
I'm interested to see that happen. I'm pretty sure they picked somebody else up as well.
Will Fitzpatrick give it to him though?
You think what is he saying? Tua is going to be injured?
I'm just saying Tua is going to sit for the majority of the year.
You think?
Not be for 30 million.
Yeah.
Mate, not when he signed a 30 mil contract.
Fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Mate, that's a big contract that is for a rookie.
I know. Crazy.
That's £30 million for a rookie. No wonder Dak's asking for 40. At least he's won it.
Who else are they actually paying though?
Yeah. I was going to say, like, Dak asking for 40 puts it into even more context that he ain't worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least he's won NFL games. Tua hasn't played an NFL game yet and he's getting £30 million.
True. Very true. It's mad.
Dak's took him to the playoffs 3 out of 4 years or something like that. And
Dak's shit.
Yeah. But, like, at least he's got a leg to stand on if Tua's getting 30 million.
I know.
Brady's getting 30 million, mate.
Yeah, he's 42 though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's got 6 rings.
Yeah, I know. But at 42, no one's going to pay him like fucking 80 million, are they?
No, I know, but like it's just the fact of that Tua's getting £30 million. He's getting the same paid as Tom Brady.
Yeah,
I just find it hysterical.
Yeah.
But that's why Miami end up being a shambles of a team because they always overpay people and it just falls apart.
It's a long-term bargaining chip for me.
Yeah, because especially for somebody that's been injured that much.
Yeah, just like
he was injured every year at college.
In 4 years' time in his rookie contract, and he's obviously sick, they'll sit him down and be like, well, we did pay you that 30 million. Remember we signed you that good contract though, didn't we?
Yeah, but
for a bit of loyalty back, kid.
But then if he is really good, they'll just go, well, yeah, you paid me 30 million way before you knew I was good, and now I'm good.
Yeah, there is always that, isn't there, as well?
It's interesting.
What do you ask for then? Like, if he does go off over those 4 years and he's been paying 30, yeah. What are you looking at, figures-wise?
No, it scares me because everyone's like pushing out the bar. I mean, Nick Foles got paid a lot when he went to Jacksonville. Nick Foles got paid a lot.
He'd win the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, and that's what scares me is when it goes well, all of a sudden people think... That's why Dak Prescott thinks he's worth 40 million, because he's won a few regular season games. Like, they went, 8-8 last year? He finished 8-8 last year at Dallas, and he's now asking for £40 million. You've got to be kidding me.
Madness.
Like, it don't make sense.
Jameis goes 7-9, and he goes down to 1 million.
You try and act like James Winston didn't throw 30 interceptions, Carl.
He still threw 34 touchdowns, or something stupid like that.
Yeah, 30 interceptions though.
Yeah, I don't care, mate. It's not my problem anymore. It's not it's not there to break my heart. Anyway,
Speaking of breaking your heart,
Yeah, that's...
what?
shall we move on to the divisional talk?
Whoa, harsh. Change your
I
tune.
mean, I was kind of aiming that at Liam as well. Because
you done me last week, mate. So anything now, it's just
yeah, that's what I went after. That's what I went after call. That's what I went after call this week, mate.
So yeah, we'll move on to the divisions.
Give it an overview. What we expecting?
What we starting with this week? NFC South. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so there's two sides to each to the NFL. There's the AFC and the NFC, and each side has a South, North, East, and West. So we're going to focus over the next few weeks. We're going to focus on the NFC, and we thought we'd start with the NFC South, scenes as we've got two of the fans of the teams in here. Which this division consists of the New Orleans Saints, the Panthers, the Buccaneers, and the Atlanta Falcons. Desperate.
Keep pounding.
Sounds like your mum's. I'm not doing it. Oh, I nearly said it's your mum's sex tape then.
Jesus.
Can you say it anyway?
What the fuck?
Man.
So early on.
My mother said she wants to start watching these podcasts. I'm going to tell her to start from next week.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Tell her to start 20 minutes in.
Jesus.
What on earth?
Christopher Levers.
This is taking
so sorry.
Don't apologise. You ain't sorry.
I couldn't help it. It was just there. I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, man, and every time there's a line, it's like your mum's sex tape. Or title of your sex tape.
Jesus Christ.
I am so sorry.
Jesus.
Wow.
I am so sorry. Anyway, back to the football.
Yeah, that's it. Redeem yourself, boy.
Nick, do you want to start us off with the Falcons? I know you're not a fan of them, but I'd like to hear you back on Matty Ice.
Yeah, we did try and get our resident Falcons fan on who lives out in Atlanta. However, he's got a family quiz to do. Fair enough.
That's what happens when you ask someone 2 hours before the podcast.
Yeah, probably wasn't even. That was about an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I did text 3 days ago, but just nobody spoke to me.
Oh, yeah.
Understandable.
Just put it on.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
I honestly don't know where to start. When we mentioned what we was going to do in the podcast and that for some reason it fell on my shoulders to talk about the Falcons, I did have a quick look at their schedule, and I genuinely think they've got quite a tough schedule. I don't know if you boys have seen it, and I'm not entirely sure what a good season for them would be. I'm not entirely sure what their expectation levels are this year, but I can't imagine it's to win the division. I'd be surprised if it's to win the division. I know that they've brought in Todd Gurley and that, but I don't know.
Do you not think that they've got a scarily good offense, though?
They always do, though.
Do you think the defense, because their defense started turning up the last 7 games last year when they were talking about sacking Dan Quinn? All of a sudden, that Falcons team started to play.
Yeah,
they were real.
I don't know. Is a not? I think in like a 9-7 season. I think that's a good
9-7.
I think that's them overachieving.
Yeah,
overachieving.
So what's the realistic then?
Probably 7-9. I look through. Let's just have a click through. Open up against us. I honestly don't think they stand a chance against us. I'm not even just saying that because I'm a Seahawks fan. I genuinely don't see them beating us.
Not going.
I'll eat my words, and I'll take my hat if they do. But I can't see them beating us. Then they've got Cowboys. Who knows what Cowboys team we're going to see this next year? Who knows? But I think that's a realistic matchup. Then they've got the Bears. Again, who knows what Bears team we're going to see this year. I think it's going to be a much improved team than what we saw last year. Then it's like Packers. Then it's the Panthers, Vikings, Lions, Panthers again, the Broncos, Saints, Raiders, Saints again, the Chargers, Bucks, Chiefs, Bucks. So their last 5 games, I can't see them winning. I think even the team that they've got, I think like a 7-9 season would be quite realistic.
Everyone that I've spoken to in that NFL UK group, I know I've sent a few over to the group. Everyone that I've spoken to has got them going 1-5 in the division. Like,
Yeah, I could see it. The one being Panthers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
being
I can
two
see
and
that.
four.
I can see it.
What was that beef?
I could see it being 2 and 4.
Which games?
To be honest, right, they always manage to pull a winner against the Saints because their games against the Saints are weird.
Someone's
Yeah.
got 5-11. You know, 5. I think that's. I don't think they'll be that bad.
No, I don't think that'd be that bad. I think 7-9's realistic.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the predictions
anything
you've
more
sent over.
positive.
Yeah, some of them are a rascal. To be fair.
Mate, the one geezer had 3 teams going 15-1. Like, come on, mate. Like,
Yeah, he did. Yeah. However, like one of them, who was it? Like Kansas and I don't know who else it was. Was it?
yeah, I've seen one with Baltimore, Kansas,
Baltimore,
and there was another NFC team that was going 15-1. But half these teams play against each other this year.
Well, I was thinking that when I was looking at through some, I was like, your numbers don't really add up. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're playing against each other. Some of them are a lot. So it didn't make sense. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
They're playing a lot of teams which are probably in the same boat as them, is that they need a better season this year.
Yeah.
people like the Lions,
Yeah,
the
the
Broncos,
Lions, the Bears, the Broncos.
Bears.
Like, they're playing a lot of teams where you're all sort of going into it probably with the same mentality, the season anyway. So it's who knows. But they are, like you say, Viv, they're well equipped. Like, they are well equipped. They're equipped to go like 10-6.
Yeah,
I think comfortably. But
Yeah, on
it's just,
paper, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
But it's just when you look at them on paper for the last few years, you think, if you are a Falcons fan, like, are you annoyed or are you disappointed or what negative feeling are you? 'Cause it's got to be something, especially after that collapse at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they've been a shambles since that.
Let's not forget. They brought in fucking Dirk Cutter. What a ridiculous decision that was. He absolutely tanked the Bucks. Couldn't do anything with our offense, and then they brought him in. I saw no reasoning behind it at all.
I don't quarterback.
I don't care what anyone says, Liam. If you're going to fucking defend Dirk Cutter, don't bother. He's shit.
I'd blame the quarterback, but
no. I was about to say, I've just looked at their schedule and
it's a tough schedule. It's a really tough schedule, I think.
I'm trying to be. I don't know. I've tried to be a bit on the fence, or maybe what they'll pick up a win here or there. It might be a bit unrealistic, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went 4-12, that kind of thing.
Really, you think that
anything between 4 and 6 wins?
I think
schedule. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
based on what we know of the Falcons right now.
Yeah,
that could change. Come week 1, 2, and whatnot. But as of right now, I think between 4 and 6 wins is probably what they're looking at.
They get a 90% Todd Gurley, and I think that gets them an extra 2 or 3 wins.
Yeah.
If they get a 90% Todd Gurley, that division is going to bring 3 out of the NFC. There'll be 3 playoff teams out the NFC South. If Todd Gurley's 90% fit, they are getting 3 teams out of the NFC South.
I mean,
Falcons, Bucks, Panthers.
It's a big if.
Falcons, Bucks, and Saints.
To have like a 90% Todd Gurley and then Julio going off, and you've got Calvin Ridley as well.
Calvin Ridley, yeah.
Like that is, that's a strong offense, isn't it?
It is.
And Matty Ice can come big in big moments.
I'm so glad that I've got gallery view on.
That reaction is purely what I needed. It's what I needed.
What I wanted to ask you is, if you predict that they could potentially go 4-12, do you honestly think that there's going to be 2 teams in the NFC South that would go 4-12? Because obviously you predicted you were quite similar, didn't you? The Panthers.
Yeah. What did I say? Anything between 3 and 5 wins.
Yeah.
I would say that's about right, and I think we'll probably each get a win over each other.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably win at ours. They'll win at theirs, or if not, we'll lose at ours because we've got them early in the season. We'll beat them at theirs.
Fair enough. Beeves, you're right. You look like you're trying to hold something in.
I think they torched us at the Bucks because I think that they're not the Bucks. I think they torched the Panthers. I don't think their defense can hold up to that offense. I really do think you are sleeping on that. How powerful that offense is.
Yeah, but
3 seasons ago, they was in the Super Bowl.
no, I agree. But like,
4
not
seasons
much
ago,
has
sorry.
changed from last year other than bringing Gurley in.
No, but the last 7 games of last season, they were phenomenal.
Phenomenal
They've
strong.
actually lost. I think they've lost Beasley, haven't they?
Yeah.
But they still got a Neil.
They lost what's his face tight end as well, didn't they?
Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
Because he got paid a ridiculous amount of money. That's why.
Yeah.
Got paid a ridiculous amount of money. Do not understand it.
Who have they
He
brought
isn't
in?
that
Who have they brought in as their replacement tight end?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Did they draft one?
I think they
Is that-
drafted one.
Yeah.
I think they must
Can't
have.
remember. I'm pretty sure they drafted one. But and again, it was the same with Sanu. They got rid of Sanu.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't really replace him, did they?
No.
They sort of just left Julio Jones to be quadruple marked out of the game, and then Calvin Ridley came in for his rookie season, was expected to do quite a bit. Falcons do seem like that sort of team. Like they sort of get rid of someone, and it's almost like they're not really preparing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a split decision.
They got in Hayden Hurst.
Where was he from?
Baltimore.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, I remember.
Oh,
You boys might think differently. That's how I see it anyway.
No, I
Especially
don't.
after the Super Bowl. You'd have thought after that Super Bowl it'd have been like, right, we fucked up there.
Yeah.
Let's build on what we've got. Go again. But it's almost like the team depleted. Everyone sort of went like in a can't be asked. And that's a bit unjust to say that, but it's almost like they just mentally switched off.
They're just sidestepping, aren't they? They're not declining. Well, they have declined, but like on paper, they're not declining in terms of the players they've got, and they're not really progressing either. They're just
Andon still.
sort of one step forward, 2 back, and it.
Like, don't you think getting Todd Gurley in was quite not a very Falcons thing to do?
Massively, yeah.
It was like when they signed us, I was like, what? They've what?
I was surprised he went there as well. Like,
I'm not.
Going back home, any?
Yeah, going back home. Spent all his college years out that way.
Yeah.
To him, that could be a big thing.
Yeah.
I think they could be anywhere between 11 wins and 7 wins. I don't think they'll be around 4 or 12 and anything like that. I think they'll be between 7 and 11.
Yeah.
I can see them finishing 8-8. That's what I can see.
Yeah, I think that's where if I had to go for one, if I had to say it's one projection, I'd go 8-8. I think.
I mean, I know it's sitting on the fence.
I'll just look at them, and I was taking the piss before, but like in all seriousness, when I look at them, they're a team where I don't really know what they're going to do. If they went off, I wouldn't be surprised, and if they were shit, I wouldn't be surprised either. It's one of them. Like if they got 11 wins, that wouldn't surprise me because they've got the players to do it. But then if they didn't and they tanked it, then I also wouldn't be surprised. That makes sense.
It was like last year's games when the games that they lost. It was like, could see why. And then there's some games that they won. It was the win at Saints, wasn't it? It was just like, sorry, where the fuck's that come from?
Yeah.
Like the defense went off. Like the defense, like that was like that game. Their defense, that was arguably the best defensive display throughout the year. It was just like, where is this coming from?
I mean, yeah. For them, it was probably the best defensive player. I mean, the best defensive player of the season is the Patriots, log. But
NFC, mate, NFC.
Yeah,
True. The NFC.
You made a defensive. You're on about a defensive play, like.
Yeah, we can talk about the Patriots in a bit. Don't worry. You get 5 minutes.
Yeah, but yes.
Tonight, babe.
Can we edit that out, Carl? Is there any way we can edit that out?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Tonight, baby. You're a Saints fan.
Well, Is that good? Is that you leapfrogging to me to talk about the
It
Saints?
wasn't, to be fair, but like I
Might
think,
as well take
I
it.
feel like
Yeah.
we've summed up the Falcons there,
Yeah.
haven't we? I think.
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to come
See-
back to them anyway, aren't we? So
Saints, they're going to contend with the Bucks for the division. They're strong at home, always have been. Playing in the dome. It's going to be Alvin Kamara's healthy. I think Emmanuel Sanders joining Michael Thomas. I think that makes it a great offense.
Still at
The O
Jared
line
Cook?
is strong. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
think their
bad.
offense is enough. It all depends on Breeze, like because he's like the last couple of seasons with Breeze, like he started out really well. Obviously, he got injured last year, but the year before they started out really well. In the last 6 games, he kind of just went nowhere, and it kind of fell apart. There was the game at Dallas that finished like 13-10 or something like that.
Do you think
And
that's
they were
fatigue?
I don't know, mate. I don't know whether it's his age catching up with him or what.
Mm.
But like, you can't rule Drew Brees out. That's the thing.
Mm.
But I feel like they're the competition with the Bucks this year to come out of that division as with that division wrapped up. They've got some tough games on their schedule. They're playing the Chiefs. They're playing the Texans. They've got to play.
The Packers.
They've got the Packers, the 49ers. I mean the one away at the Packers is an interesting one because I'm not sure if that's quite early on, which
You know
will
what?
probably
They've
Let's
got
go,
some difficult road games.
Yeah.
On the road to the Vikings, the Chiefs,
The Vikings won't
49ers.
matter too much. The Vikings game won't matter
Packers.
too much because it's indoors. The games where they'll struggle will be places like Kansas City, and when they go to the Packers, especially if it's around December time because it will be freezing cold in them buildings.
September for the Packers.
Yeah, end of September.
Yeah, so that's not going to matter too much. But when they go to the Chiefs, because I'm sure that's like week 15.
Yeah, in December, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be December, so it's going to be freezing cold. And it's going to be different circumstances then. But when they play the teams like the Vikings and Falcons and they're playing indoors, it doesn't matter. It won't affect them because it's not playing at home for them. There's no change.
49ers in November.
Yeah, but it's California, mate. That means nothing. It ain't going to be cold.
But still, on the face of it, without
the
that,
teams,
their road games are on paper tough.
Yeah, they've got a tough schedule.
Yeah, but that's why they're a great team because
the defense is good. They've got a lot of youngsters on that defense as well who are starting to come into their own as players. I thought Marshawn Lattimore had a down year last year, and I'm interested to see him pick it back up this year. Obviously, Eli Apple as well on the one side. He's always been like that kind of guy. Like coming out of college, he was like, I thought, he could be quite good. But now I look at him and I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're going to be something, I want to see it from you this year. I think the Saints defense, that front's really good. Cameron Jordan's obviously a massive player for him. I think they're a very well built side. But what my only downside of them and my only question is Drew Brees fully healthy and can he go for more than 16 games? Because they've got to. Obviously, they lost that controversial one to the Rams. In the NFC Championship game at home. They lost last year to the Vikings at home. And these are games that they should be favourites in. I mean, there was the controversy with the NFC title game, but that one last year against the Vikings, they got outplayed in their own building. But again, there was a bang of Alvin Kamara.
Was that the one where... Was it last year when they were like knocking on the door and then was it Drew Brees threw an interception last play of the game?
Something like that, yeah.
Did they need?
They needed to score and they just weren't able to.
Okay.
Because they've got a really good kicker as well. Will Lutz is massive for him.
Yeah,
he's got a quality leg and he's very good at the end of games. But they beat the 49ers they lost the 49ers, didn't they? They beat somebody last year and it was right at the end of the game and he nailed like a 50-yard field goal. It was just so clutch. But they're going to have to. I want to see them go throughout the whole season because the one year they started 8-0 and then they finished up like 11-5. Like I want to see more from them at the back end of the season. I don't bother what they do for the first month, but the back end of the season they have to get rolling.
What do you reckon? What do you see them finishing on?
What were they? 12-4 last year.
Yeah.
I can see them being around 12-4. The lowest I think they'll be is 10-6.
I reckon. I reckon around probably 11-5. That's probably do you know what? Looking at the schedule, I reckon that's the lowest they'll finish on.
I can see him.
But I don't
can see him going
many more. 11-5, 12-4, that kind of.
I can see him going 5-1 in the division, same as the Bucks. I think they'll take one each off the Bucks, and they'll beat the Falcons and the Panthers twice.
Yeah.
But then they do tend to slip up against the Falcons for some reason. The Falcons always fancy it, but I can't see them. I think they're a different team when they've got that dual threat at wide receiver, plus the fact of a fit and healthy Alvin Kamara.
He'll be good to watch.
I reckon they'll go 14-2.
Who do you see them losing to? Who are the two?
Us and the Falcons.
So you see them
Because
beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead?
Yeah, because I think other than that, like the grand scheme of things, their schedule is actually quite easy in comparison to a lot of teams. Their schedule isn't that tough.
I think the game.
They're anywhere near the team they were last year with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be a team everyone will struggle to beat them rather.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got a tough run in to the end, and it's how good they can start compared to the Bucks, will depend on that. I think we're going to get a much improved Eagles this year.
Yeah,
Chiefs are just generally going to be hard to beat. I think it's going to be an absolute slog to beat the Chiefs.
Mm.
They've got it in them, no doubt about it. But will they do it? Who knows?
The temperature plays a massive part in that game.
Exactly, like you said, there's a lot of variants that affect that. Then it's the Vikings, then the Panthers. Yes, sorry, Lee.
No.
Shut your ears, mate. I think they absolutely dick the Panthers both games. But that run up, they've got the Falcons at Mercedes-Benz. At the Falcons. They're both the Mercedes-Benz, aren't they? Then it's the Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings run. It's
that 3-game stretch, though. We'll learn a lot about them because is the Eagles game at home?
They are the nearly team.
Like is the Eagles game at home?
No, it's at Eagles.
So Philly's going to be cold as well.
Yeah,
Philly's going to be cold as well. It's cold out that way, mate. That's the biggest thing I look at with the Saints. While Drew Brees played a lot of years in the NFL, them cold games, it's about them cold games ain't that nice. When it's freezing cold temperatures, you don't want to be there, and you have to hand the ball off a lot. Your hands are cold. You're always trying to keep it warm. Your receivers and stuff like that. It's a difficult situation to go into, especially in Arrowhead. It will be freezing cold, and they're going to be boisterous. They're going to be rocking. That's a solid team they're going into play. I think it's a real difficult game for them.
Yeah, so that's why I think that there's definitely a couple of games where if they've got this reputable almost mentality, or
they're at home to the Chiefs.
Yeah, sorry, they're at home to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I was reading. I was reading it the wrong way.
Yeah,
they're at home to the Chiefs. Oh, that's a shootout way.
If they carry on this like they're the nearly team, then who knows what that little stretch of games might do to them.
I think they're due to beat the Vikings. I think the Vikings the way the Vikings have beaten them in the last couple of years, I think they are due to put the Vikings to the sword.
Yeah, especially if they go and have an absolute shootout with the Chiefs the week before.
Yeah.
What can happen? I don't know. There's a lot to be said, but I still think I agree with Lee in that I think their floor is definitely 11 wins, 11-5. Sorry, I think they could do 13-3, something like that.
Do you know what? Now looking at the right way around, their road games are not that hard. They're not difficult at all.
No,
the teams coming into New Orleans themselves are difficult, but home advantage counts massively in that dome. So, you know what? I'll stick with 11-5 as their floor, but my God, they could easily go 14-2. Maybe, you know what? Wouldn't be surprised if they went 15-1. Would not be surprised.
I wouldn't
I
think
don't
so.
think we see it. I don't think we see that.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
be
think we
surprised.
see anyone go 15-1.
No.
I reckon, like I said, I reckon it's more around 11-5, 13-3. But I wouldn't be surprised if they went 15-1.
What about the Panthers then, Liam?
Wait, no,
Um,
Carl, what do you think?
I said,
Oh, yeah.
14-2, mate.
Mhm.
14-2. Yeah, like I said, because I did read the schedule properly. Just
Sorry,
saying.
Carl.
I'm only
Sorry,
joking,
mate.
mate. I'm only joking.
Sorry.
But like in
Jesus.
comparison to like everyone else, that they've got one of the easier schedules, definitely.
Mm.
And with the team they've already got, I wouldn't be 14-2 is more than achievable for them. I think definitely 13-3, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, as much as I want the Vikings to beat them because it's on Christmas Day, and otherwise my missus will be screwing. It ain't gonna happen. I don't think it ain't.
My
Gonna.
missus
Of
will be
course,
happy.
yeah. I forget it's that game, yeah. And I said the other week that Saints would win that, so we're not going back on that.
Flip flop Nick one.
No, mate, I'm not.
To be fair, I think they owe the Saints.
Do you know what? I'm gonna say it. That's my banker. That's my banker of their fixture. They're winning that game.
Ooh,
I
Put
think
£100 on any game. You'd get the best odds on the Vikings, and I think that's the only one that's going to do.
I think
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm in agreement with that 100%.
I think the Saints owe the Vikings, especially on the main stage. I think they owe the Vikings one, so I think the Saints will beat them.
That's going to be my Christmas present to my missus. £100 bet on the Vikings.
Just give it a slip in a card.
He'll thank me in about 3 hours, Bab.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So, like I say, the floor and the ceiling's massive on the Saints. I think we'll move over to the Panthers. See, we had a brief rundown of it last week.
Yeah, so
Has
I won't
anything
go
changed, mate?
too much.
No. By all means, do. I just wondered if anything's changed.
Not really. I mean, what did I say? I say our floor is literally probably around 3 and 13.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but I would have corrected it. 13 losses. Don't worry. I mean, but I also said last week I do believe that as the season progresses, we will start to show a bit of rhythm and form. Yeah. And I was going to say it earlier, but I thought it's more appropriate to say it now. I wouldn't be surprised if on the last game of the season against the Saints we win because they've already wrapped up the division by then.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they're resting players at that point. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if that gives us a win.
Still a divisional game, though, isn't it?
On your 15-1.
Game, yeah.
So you're 15-1. You're the Panthers. You're what the team that's beating them.
Yeah.
There's no issue with that. Yeah, go with it. Yeah. Go with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like it.
What you got to remember is if they're resting players, that means James is in the building.
So we're guaranteed a win because he'll give us it. But now, I mean, our fixtures are, in my opinion, they are tough. To any other team, they're not. But in a rebuilding team, they're tough. I mean, we open up against the Raiders at home. Who knows what the Raiders will be like? So
hold on. No. Let's not flip flop here. You told us you were beating the Raiders. Me and Nick didn't agree with you. You said you are beating the Raiders.
I know, and I haven't said that we're not.
I don't know. You
sure.
said
if you let me finish.
I don't know. You were flip flopping there. There was a bit of fence sitting about to happen. You were going backwards then, Liam.
100% not. I was going to say. Don't know what Raiders it is, but I'm still backing us to beat them opening game of the season, followed by a loss against the Bucks. The Chargers away, 100% loss. We're away at home to the Cardinals. I back that. We'll beat them. I still think we'll beat them. A couple of weeks in, we'll probably know, and I might change my mind. But as it stands right now, I back us to beat them. We'll lose to the Falcons, 100%. The Bears, God knows what Bears will turn up, but we're at home, so. Maybe that gives us some kind of home field advantage. Saints writing us off against them. At home to the Falcons, midway through the season. They could be hitting a bit of form by then. Probably won't, so we'll probably lose that. Chiefs, nah. Bucks, nah. Lions, at this point, I would hope that would be the Lions. Vikings, nah. Broncos.
Sleep on them Lions.
Broncos at home, probably not. Packers, definitely not. Redskins, that's probably my banker. That's the one I'd put a banker on. The only one I feel confident in. And then
Eddie Quirk, if you're listening, you know you've got his number, chap.
I can't wait for Eddie's comments next week.
Only because we haven't lost to them since what was it? I think it was 20.
Yeah, you keep putting this out there. You're just
Just
asking
say
for it.
Just say it. Just say it. What you really think of the Redskins?
They're not as good as us. I wish it. But again, I'll go back to. I do think we probably won't win games, but I think you'll start to see the potential of Carolina over the next few years, because I think halfway through this season, 3/4 of the way through, we'll start to see Matt Rule's system coming through, and the changes that he's been making starting to come through. I think our defense first half of the season will be torched, most likely, especially in cornerback. Until we address that position, that's still the biggest concern of mine. We just have not addressed cornerback at all, and it does worry me. Yeah, we've got some players that can kind of play in multiple positions, but it worries me. So until that gets addressed, I'm still worried, especially against Mike Evans, Godwin, Thomas, Julio, twice.
That's a horrible thought, isn't it?
It's scary when we've got Dante Jackson, who is a liability because the kid's just got a hot head. He's liable to get ejected from a game every other week. But until we address cornerback, then that's 100% where we're going to struggle. I think we will be a bit improved on defense. My sleeper for our team is Shaq Thomas stepping up in the absence of Luke Kuechly. It's time for him to shine. If not, he ain't getting a contract. And we suffer a losing season, but with a lot of optimism for the 2021-22 season.
Just a quick thought, because I completely forgot about this.
Mm-hmm.
When you say your banker, you're going to Ron's new home.
Yep.
You think that's a banker?
Yep.
I think Ron lights you lot up like it's Christmas.
I don't think he lights you up, but I think he makes it pretty hard.
That's the only reason I'm giving it a banker, because I cannot let Ron do one over on us.
You can't face it.
No.
You just can't face it.
No.
I shouldn't have sacked him anyway.
Yeah.
I can see why we've moved on from him 100%. But I liked him anyway. I really do like him. I still like him, but I don't want him to get one over on us. Let's be honest.
Oh, he's definitely been. That defense
Yeah, I
of the
completely
Redskins
forgot about
is
that.
going
I was just thinking, I was looking when you said it's a banker. I was like,
But I am intrigued by Matt Rule and Joe Brady and their offensive scheme coming through. I think it is going to be very dynamic as the season goes by, and like I said, we'll start to see a glimpse of what we can offer in the future under Matt Rule. I know, Bees, you've spoken about Matt Rule the last couple of weeks and how effective he is at rebuilds and so on. So
he normally struggles the first year, but then it's kind of like a three year process for him. But as in the first year he takes it it's like having a year off, but realistically you're just building for the future.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with the Panthers is I just don't know who's going to catch any balls for you. Other than McCaffrey, who's catching the ball? Because Greg Olsen's not there now, and that is a massive part of your passing game that he's gone. I don't see.
was he last year though?
No, because of the injuries. But how bad was that offense last year?
Yeah, well.
Well, I mean, DJ Moore he's gone on. He had a decent rookie year. He had a decent year last year.
Big season this year, hasn't he?
I think he did have a really good year last year. He was over at 1,100 yards. He was up there with the highest receivers on yardage total. Anyway, I think he just needs to incorporate a bit more to his game. Curtis Samuel, I hope, because I don't think Ron Rivera used him anywhere near where he should have been used. Curtis Samuel can be a similar mould to McCaffrey as he saw in college. He can run the ball as well. So I would like to see Curtis Samuel being used on a mixed basis this coming season, whether it's in the slot, on the edge, as a running back, or whatever it may be. And that's why I'm intrigued by our offense moving forward, because Joe Brady coming from LSU, obviously Matt Rule. It is intriguing, but it will take time. And like Beaves has said, it's almost a year off for him to analyse everything this year and get another draft under his belt next year. But I think we could surprise a few people as the season goes by. Like I said, I don't think we'll win too many games, but we'll keep things close as the season goes by. Simply because people have gelled by then.
I think what you got to look at with Matt Rule this year is the fact that obviously coming off the we had with Baylor, that a lot of the players that are in the college game now, he's going to have seen up close and personal, and he's going to have studied. So people coming into the draft, it's going to be an important moment for him because he's going to have seen certain talents that will go under the radar.
Yeah.
So he can build from that. I just don't see who's catching the ball a lot for you. That's a massive part of your offense that's gone. And my biggest question is, like, I don't know who's at. Luke Kuechly's shoes are so big to fill that
that's always going to be a difficult.
That's going to be difficult. I think your defense could get torched early doors quick, and
yes, that's what I said. Yeah.
I think your defense could get torched early doors, and it'll get better. But like, I just don't see. I mean, the Raiders opening day, like, they could come out of the blocks. Raiders could, because
new stadium, new sea. They want to.
Is it at the new stadium?
No, it's at ours. But like, what I mean is,
are you playing the Chargers at their new stadium?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there'll be no fans there, but like, because the Chargers don't have any. The Chargers don't have any fans. It's weird. But I just think that you're asking for trouble with them, especially them teams you've got to play. The wide receiver talent on them teams are frightening.
All over. Literally every team you look at, every team has someone, which is why I worry for mainly our secondary and our cornerbacks. I mean,
Ruggs could go off the first game.
The Bucks, as we know, the Cardinals with D-Hop, Falcons with Julio.
How dare you not mention Larry Fitzgerald? How dare you?
Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Devontae Adams. My God, it's going to be a tough year, but I do see us improvement as the season goes on still. But we took him on Matt Rule. He's got a 7-year contract, so I'm not expecting miracles overnight. Won't give him a 7-year contract if he.
No. He's definitely he's got a proven history of turning things around.
Ask Mark Ashley about 7-year deals.
Wasn't it 8-year deal?
Yeah, Pardiola's for Pardew, yeah.
Pardiola's just finished his 8-year deal, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Carl?
It's going to be a tough season, mate. Because I'm just taking it all in. I don't disagree with anything that's been said, really. It's just going to be a tough season, isn't it? I don't know enough about Matt Rule to comment, to be honest. So, yeah, McCaffrey can't do it on his own at the end of the day. But then I do like Teddy Bridgewater. So
yeah, I do. I said this last week. He's a stopgap, I think, personally. He's not a long-term quarterback.
Stopgap for who, though? That's the biggest question for who.
It depends. I think it depends on where we finish next at the end of the season. So whether it's Fields, Lawrence, or the other guy, I can't remember his name now.
Because I find that a weird decision to pay a quarterback like you have done for 1 year
over 3 years.
Yeah, but how many years? Sorry, what was it?
60 mil over 3 years.
So, 60 million for 3 years. I find that such a weird contract for a stopgap quarterback because at the end of the day, like, I just don't see it. I genuinely just don't see you signing. You'd have just played a year with Kyle Allen as your quarterback if you were going to draft one of them quarterbacks.
We traded him. We traded him away to. He followed Ron to Washington.
The Redskins, did he?
Yeah.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him. So who's your backup?
Taylor Heineke and the oh my God, what's his name? The guy who came out of the XFL. He led the XFL in. Yards and touchdowns. Oh my God, what is his name?
The kid from that Houston team.
Actually, he's quite dynamic.
Is it the Houston team?
You know who I mean.
I know what you mean. I just don't.
He's quite dynamic. I don't think he's ready to make the jump from XFL to NFL, but
£60 million across 3 years, though. 20 million a year. Like, I do not see that being a stopgap. There's no way you're taking one of the top picks next year for when you're going to have Bridgewater sat on 40 million for 2 years.
I don't know how much of it guaranteed.
But it don't matter, because if he's there for the 3 years, you've got 60 million contract. Like, it's a interesting thought that's not a stopgap contract. Because surely you'd have only given him a 1 year if you're going to do it. You might have been better just bringing James in for a year. Keeping Cam. Especially if it's going to be a stopgap. Like, I just don't see it being a stopgap. There's no way you're paying somebody for 3 years £60 million for a stopgap quarterback. I don't see it. I think they're going to ride with Teddy and see what he can do.
My only concern with him though is that he hasn't done a full 16-game season in years because he's injured, isn't he, most of the time?
Well, no, he tore his ACL. And then when he came back, he was obviously the Vikings were winning near enough every week with Keenum. You can't bring him in to play that game. He played them 6 games straight last year with the Saints, won all 6. He was very good in all 6. And then, so you've given him a 3-year contract. For me, you ain't picking the quarterback up next year for a quarterback after giving a 3-year contract out. I just don't see it. I don't see why you give
someone under him. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Maybe whoever they're picking up, give a year underneath him.
I don't know. Wasting a top 10 pick. Because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a top 10 pick. And you're saying you'd take Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. They're going to be a top 10 pick. Like, you ain't wasting a top 10 pick on a quarterback. You're going to sit on the bench. For me, it ain't a stopgap decision. It's a decision on, we think we can win with Teddy. We think we can progress with Teddy as quarterback and see where it takes us. But I don't see you picking up either of the 2 quarterbacks next year.
I'd agree, but based on everything I've been hearing out of Carolina I don't know, reading between the lines, they're all like, Teddy's the right guy for now. It's never, we're looking future with Teddy. He's the right guy now, as in they see him as the short term and not the long term. That's what makes me think, but I 100% agree with you on that contract. And it's the first thing I thought of when he first signed. And I was like, 63 mil for 3 years. Wow, Christ. So it's interesting. That's why I was trying to find then the ins and outs of his contracts to see if we could, if there's any clause in his contract where after a year or 2 he can be cut and we don't have to pay. We have no dead money to pay. I don't know.
Nah, it goes into the dead salary cap if you cut somebody that's on their contract under contract unless they sign for another team. Unless you try to trade him, but again, I just don't see you wasting a top 10 pick on a quarterback that you expected to sit. Like, it wouldn't make any sense for me.
But if any year is the year to pick a quarterback, next year would be the one, you know.
Well, no, I suppose it would have been this year. It would have been this year.
This year or next year, really. Based on
especially when you were
as well.
But especially when you were picking in the top 10 this year, you could have took any of them quarterbacks this year and built around that. But you're obviously like, that's what makes me think like it ain't going to be like you ain't going to just play him for 1 year and then not put him on the bench. Like, I just don't see
the Lions were trying to give away that 3rd pick, weren't they?
Yeah. 100%. They weren't interested in the 3rd pick, and like, but you also like you were picking at 7, so you could have just swapped that with the Lions and gone, well, there you go, take whoever you're taking at 7.
Well, we just don't give up our 7th, weren't we?
which tells you everything about the fact that they ain't picking up they ain't trying to pick up a quarterback next year. That Trevor Lawrence dream ain't happening.
I'll take him or Fields.
Yeah, but it ain't going to happen. Like, you ain't going to draft either of them two to sit and behind Teddy Bridgewater for a year.
Yeah, there could be quite a few good quarterbacks coming out this year.
Yeah.
The kid from Dakota State? Trey Lance. That's him. And we've just signed a lad from Wake Forest, Jamie Newman, who looks pretty good. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a baller. I think we'll be surprised. And like we said, I think, what did we say last week? I can't remember now. That you look at Burrows that went into before this season, he was projected, was it fifth, sixth round, one of them? Like, there'll be a couple of quarterbacks there or thereabouts at the end of this season, depending on what kind of season we get.
I just don't see him wasting a top 10 pick on a quarterback, though, when they've got Bridgewater there. Obviously, injuries change things, but I just don't see why you'd take a top 10 pick next year when you've got a lot of holes to fill on your defense and and other aspects of your team. When you've got a quarterback like Bridgewater in you, who you paid already, I think it's a massive decision to.
There's good wide receivers coming out by the looks of it next year as well.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the kid that went back into Bama.
Devontae Smith has gone back to Bama, yeah. The LSU's main wide receiver. Can't think of his name now. That's what happens when you don't watch any NFL for like 4 months. Forget everyone's name.
Yeah.
But
I think next year's draft class is going to be good.
We got Justin Ross from the Clemson. He was
yeah.
I liked him. I preferred him to T. Higgins this year, to be fair.
Yeah, be interesting.
Yeah, I don't. That's my thought process. Is like, if you're going to give a 3-year, $60 million contract out, you ain't picking up Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields next year.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not at all. I can see his point of view if he is trying to build everywhere else, because you can see the needs on defense massively. I wouldn't be surprised if he went all offense next year. But maybe that's part of it. Is we'll try and build what we can before we need a QB, and if he gets injured, then we're ready to pick a QB should we need one. I don't know. I'm not a GM. I'm not a head coach. I don't know shit. I'm just a fan who's chatting shit. But yeah, on that note, let's go on to Carl. Finish off with the Bucks.
I feel under pressure.
Let's go 16-0, Carl. Let's talk about this 16-0 possibility. Let's fucking go for it.
No,
let's start hot, mate. Let's go.
I've moved on from last week. Like, Nick is gonna laugh at me, but mate, I'm 14-2. I'm confident. Mate. I am, and especially if we beat the Saints the first game. No one's beating us other than the Chiefs and the Vikings. If we beat the Saints first game, nobody.
Where's the Chiefs game?
In Kansas. Let me double check.
You got a good cold weather quarterback though.
Let me double check.
We've got a good quarterback period.
No, but Brady's record when it's below a certain temperature is frightening.
Is that a fact?
Yes, mate.
Nice. Chiefs is week 13. No, week 12. Yeah, is that the?
So
it's in Kansas,
that's not November. That's November, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Be cold. Won't be freezing, but it'll be cold.
You're at home.
You've actually not got a bad schedule, Carl.
Right, all I've been thinking.
You're at home.
Looking at this, fair enough.
Against the Chiefs.
This that schedule.
Bit of warm weather.
Mate, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, OJ Howard,
don't mention his name.
Cameron Bright. Like, even if Gronk, we still got OJ Howard and Cameron Bright. Brady at the helm, obviously. Then arguably we've got one of the best left guards in the game, which is Ali Marpet, arguably, to be fair. Then we just signed Tristan Wirfs. Then on defense we've got Levante David, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, and Dominican Sue. Like, mate, they are fucking units. Like, and Todd Bowles is doing bits on defense. We are going all the way.
Todd Bowles built
I
a
told you I had a weird few days
scary.
where my head's not like there, so this might be down to that. But still,
Just a quick one, Carl. I don't know if you've seen this. The NFL released a video yesterday or the day before of a Madden prediction of week 3 against the Packers. So they simulated the whole game against the Packers, and what was the score? You beat them 21-14 with, I think it was 30 seconds left on the clock. Ronald
Sounds
Jones.
like Brady.
Ronald Jones ran for an 80-yard touchdown.
and we've got Ronald Jones
I knew Nick would love that.
to back him up. We've just signed that Keyshawn Vaughn as well. He's decent. He's a decent running back. So, mate, we've got all the weapons, but if we don't,
if that happens, I will sit here and say I completely got it wrong.
I want you to wear a Bucks jersey.
I will wear a Bucks jersey.
I want you to wear a Bucks jersey.
I will. If the Bucks
and tell me that Brady's the greatest. Yeah.
If you
go 10-6 or less, you've got to wear a Seahawks.
Deal, mate.
Yeah. There's so much.
We could go
hype
8-8
around them. That's the thing. There's so much hype, and yes, you've got a quarterback that is used to having that hype, but that quarterback's got to go into that team and lift everyone. Yes, he's going to lift everyone just by walking in. I agree, but is he going to lift that team that high straight away?
Do you not
I
think
just don't think he will.
Do you not think though he's walking into a team of frustrated players?
Yeah,
100%. I look at it from the point of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They have got to be looking at that last year and going, how the fuck have we not made the playoffs?
Yeah.
Our quarterbacks threw the ball away 30 times. The ball got fumbled a lot. The mistakes don't happen. The Bucks are on a different season. And Bruce Arians is a great coach.
This is the other thing. If you're a wide receiver, right? If you're not Mike Evans, because he's top, maybe a younger one. You're listening to Brady more than you are Bruce.
Okay.
That is going to somehow, at some point, the dynamics of that team is going to shift in my eyes, because you're going to have younger players that are looking to, team meeting, first game of the season, they're all sat there. Bruce is spouting his shit. I can picture the young lads looking over to make sure that Brady is nodding along with him. And if he's not, at the end of that meeting, they're going up to me like, Tom, what do you think? What's your thought? And I just think that along with all the hype around the team, along with the Gronk, everything, I think there is a lot. I think there's more things that can go wrong with everything as a whole than it can go right. But as I said, I will completely admit that I fucked up big time.
So what's your floor for them then? What's your floor and their ceiling for the Bucks then, Nick?
I think 8-8 is the floor. And I think 11-5.
That's their ceiling.
Yeah.
And what are you expecting then? 10-6.
9-7. No, that's too harsh. 10-6. Yeah, 10-6. 10-6.
9-7 is not harsh.
I think
what we should have had last year.
10-6. 10-6. I just you can't look past. I think Brady comes with a lot of baggage that I think that Beaver you're overlooking. He comes with a lot of baggage.
I think you're not looking at how hungry he's going to be.
I'm not. I'm taking him out of it. I'm talking about everyone else.
Yeah, but what you got to think
looking to him.
But he has been at the Patriots every year, setting the standard. Mate, they reckon he's the first in the building. And you look at the players that have played around him, right? Julian Edelman is a prime example of this, right? He's a hard worker. He's a smart guy. But Julian Edelman learned the position as he went, and now he's one of the top receivers in the game.
How long has that took?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
he didn't do that after one season. He's going in there and he's expecting to get that massive season.
But Brady's walking in there to an offense that's already flying. Like that offense flew last year. Like, but they lost games because of turnovers. That's where the losses come last year. They turned the ball over. There's at least 4 or 5 games where they've turned the ball over and left the win on the field. Right, he's walking into Mike Evans is going to be like, we can win. Brady's a mentality changer. Bruce Arians is a winning coach. That Arizona team were frighteningly good, but they could turn the ball over a lot because of Carson Palmer. Mate, they got a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over a lot, right? And makes good decisions in big moments. Has been through everything you can think of. The Bucs, for me, this year are a team to watch. They're going to fly everywhere, and people are going to go in there trying to go, wow, it's only Brady, he's 42 and stuff like that. Man, people are going to get surprised because they're going to come out with some right displays this year. And I'm 100% like, I'm gutted that Brady's not a Patriot player anymore because I know what he's made of, like, and he's got a point to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. You know, you can't only play for Belichick. Yeah, okay, we'll see. Like, and it's the same for Belichick.
That's intriguing. I'm really intrigued about that.
If it was Football Manager, I wouldn't go anywhere near him. If I had to choose a team, it'd be one of them. It'd be like, stay away from that. The hierarchy is just going to be horrible to manage.
Do you reckon Brady will make a name of someone, or do you reckon he'll stick with the receivers he kind of has? So, obviously Evans, Godwin, Gronk, or do you reckon he makes a name for somebody else?
I've got a new lad coming in. I can't remember what his name is. He'll probably sit in at slot.
Scott Miller, something like that.
Scotty Miller's still.
Scotty Miller's. He's the only one I can think of.
He's unbelievably quick.
Really?
Like, I think
OJ Howard will go off order.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't. If he doesn't, like, he's gone at the end of the day.
I think he's
this is his year to prove his worth. Like,
I think he could be really good as a receiving tight end. I don't think he would feature much in the blocking aspect. But
I
as
think
a receiver,
last year proved that he shouldn't be a blocking tight end. Like, not in a bad way. Like, he just wasn't utilised in the right way at all.
Oh yeah, for me, Brady's got a point to prove, and he's going in there.
I don't dispute that. I don't dispute that at all. I think,
mate, he's been a tone setter in New England.
There's more of a mental game with the rest of the team.
But you not think though, like,
pressure on the rest of the team? Shit,
100%.
We've got Brady now. They
have to perform.
Up. Yeah.
I was Brady. Like, what happens if they don't perform? Like, literally, if someone doesn't perform,
who gets dropped?
What happens?
Not drop Brady, are they?
What happens? Does Brady go to Arians and be like, get rid of him?
He ain't that kind of guy though, is he? Like, I mean, if you listen to the stories about him.
Brady's throwing to people and they're not catching that ball, and Brady's having not good games for it. The whole dynamic changes.
I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he is. And I've listened to a lot of people that have played with him and stuff like that. James Harrison come from the Steelers, and he said, I used to hate Tom Brady. I come to the Steelers, I come from the Steelers. We played against him year and year, and he said the first thing that happened when he walked into the building was he comes straight to me, and I think, like, as the report said, the first thing Brady did he got the offensive numbers. That's all he wanted, was the first team offensive numbers, so he could get in contact with him and start talking to him already. I'll be amazed if their mentality is not picked up and, like, they're not hyped. Whether it creates a different thing, but I can see them being more confident and putting themselves about more, because they'll see how hard he works. So they'll push their levels of hard work. Not saying that they're not a hard working unit already, but, like, I think he'll raise people's levels, which he's done it throughout his career.
I still think he's got to bring in that mentality. He's going to bring that in, I think.
I think he's got that mentality.
Like, this is the thing, Beaver. I'm not disputing anything about Brady. Brady is go, without doubt. My concern is not with him in the slightest. My concern is with everyone else. He is under, at the minute, been at the Patriots, that regime of that mental state that the Patriots implement in people. Bucs don't have that. That will take years for the Bucs to get that. Probably Brady won't be there by the time that comes in. The only way that Brady's going to implement that is if he starts being a coach there.
The thing I'd say is though, like, and Carl's probably the best one to speak to this about. Like, Carl, did you notice a change in them last year though with Bruce Arians there?
Massively. Like it's first of all, we took a lot of young kids on. So you got people like Jamal Dean and stuff that drafted on that year and brought them straight in at cornerback. Got rid of Vernon Hargraves, and they're just chomping at the bit. People like Devin White. We've already got players that are working their bollocks off and taking senior roles, and they're already chomping at the bit. I understand where you're coming from with Tom Brady having to potentially change the dynamic, but I think a lot of the players that I'm talking about, maybe in Dominican suicide, will already be chomping at the bit and knowing what to expect from Tom Brady. I think they've already got that instilled from them, from Bruce Arians. Yeah, man, because what Todd Bowles has done with our defense has been unreal, absolutely unreal. Like the offense has got a lot of credit last year, but the defense didn't get anywhere near enough, mate.
The reason that Honey Badger was so highly regarded was because he was part of that Arizona defense with Calais Campbell, Chandler Jones, and then they had Patrick Peterson as well, and Honey Badger flying around the ball. Like Todd Bowles, it didn't work out for him in the Jets, but I think the Jets are a tough organisation to go and take over.
Mate, I forgot to mention as well, like if Shaq Barrett gets anywhere near what he did last year, fucking out. But like JPP as well, got Jason Pierre-Paul still, like people like that, they're already leaders within the team, and I think they'll just echo what Tom Brady's going to say, personally.
And what you got to think about as well is, like, with a quarterback like Brady, because of the way he goes about his game, because he limits the risks he'll take, so he won't be turning the ball over as much, they will have less time on the field, which means they'll be hungrier to get every opportunity to get at somebody.
Yeah.
So for them, like, they get more rest to be better players. And I think, like, Bruce has already started to turn around the mentality. And I think Brady respects the mentality that he's building. I think that's why he's gone there, is because he's got trust in the coach and the way the players are reacting to him. I don't think he's gone there for a payday. I think he's gone there because he feels he can be successful in that team, and they're heading in the right direction for him to give them success. Maybe he could be that missing piece.
Yeah, I think from what you said, Nick, in the sense of him having to go in and get everyone G'd up, I think he's probably looked at the books and thought that's the easiest place to go and already get people hyped up because they're already
I've got to do it less.
Not motivation, yeah.
And I think Gronk going with him helps as well, because Gronk's got to work hard to get back in football shape, which apparently he's nearly there anyway.
But he'll carry Brady's message, won't he, almost?
Yeah, like that's two players who are hungry. And Dominican Sue's played against Brady. Like, he was at the Dolphins for a bit, and where we'd play him twice a year. And it's one of them where you look at it and you go, and then obviously we played him in the Super Bowl, and it's just one of them of, like, I think that they'll be hungry because, like you said, Nick, like, while it's a pressure having Brady in, I genuinely feel though that some of these players are going to be excited, so they're going to show what they can do and push themselves to a level that they haven't, like, achieved so far. Like, we could even see a bigger Mark Evans this year, and I don't even know if that's possible. But
it's mad, isn't it?
The rise of quarterback play could definitely push that to another level.
If it doesn't happen this year, what then?
Fucked.
This
shit or bust, mate. It is shit or bust.
Like, realistically, how many years are you expecting to get out of Brady?
2 max.
2.
They've got him for 2, haven't they?
But I personally think, like, it's this year.
You've invested in win now, haven't you?
Yeah.
It never really works.
I agree. I do agree.
It nearly did.
It almost gets you there.
It nearly did, though.
And maybe Brady is that missing piece. That's what you need in a win now team.
When you look at the Rams, when they made the Super Bowl, the Rams made the Super Bowl and they'd spent all that money and put all that money into the team, and everyone was like, how's this going to work? They were literally quarterback play short. I mean, if you look at the big moments in that Super Bowl, they were all defensive plays. But when it came down the stretch, Brady made that big throw to Gronk right at the end of the game, which led to the game-winning touchdown, which put the made it a 2-score game, and that came down to better quarterback play, which is
I
what the Bucs have been lacking.
And a girly-less Rams.
That's a bit unfair on Goff as well, because Goff was going up against Tom Brady. I think it's a bit like he's a young kid.
Yeah, but what I mean, I'm not. That wasn't even me digging at Goff, but it came down to the fact that Brady could make a throw. In the big moment, and that's what Goff. Obviously, don't get me wrong. Like the Patriots' defense that day was exceptional. I mean, but that whole offense and Goff couldn't make a throw. He couldn't keep himself steady. Couldn't get his feet right. Like it's not like it's Brady going in somewhere that he's uncomfortable. To him, it's going to be another game and another reason to showcase himself. And if you ever get to watch the Brady 6, if any of you have ever watched it, I know Carl's watched it because I sent it to him. Mate, to see the drive that he's still got, and why he's driven, it's quite scary, especially with what he's achieved. To know that he's still got that in him, and it still bugs him, like it's quite scary. That's I mean, if you get a chance, watch the Brady 6 because it is big time. I mean, I know Carl's watched it.
Yeah, it completely changed my outlook on him.
For me, there's no question about his ability. That's never been up for discussion. I just think it's just such a big season for the Bucs. Huge. In the time I've been watching NFL, this is arguably the biggest season for a team.
Do you know, like, I mean, I suppose you kind of, in a similar way, compare it to the Browns last year when they had OBJ, they had Kareem Hunt, and you look at that team. It's not, no.
You're bringing a goat in. That's what you're doing.
Just out of interest, Nick, had it been Russell Wilson instead of Tom Brady, what would you say? What would you think?
I'd probably be saying the same thing for the first season. Yeah.
I only ask because I'm with these. I'm like, it could have been any of the top quarterbacks, and I'd be saying the same thing. But then it's Tom Brady, who's like still up there. Like he's another level above. So that's why I'm just like throwing everything at it.
I tell you what, I would say. I think you're more likely to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson than you are Tom Brady.
Interesting.
I think if you give Russell Wilson a 5-year contract, he wins you a Super Bowl in that year. I don't think you give Tom Brady a 2-year contract, he wins a Super Bowl. He'll get you close. He'll get you probably closer than you'll ever be. But I don't know. I don't know.
Do you feel like
you need to see? I need to see that first game and see how the team react.
Yeah,
and then that will change my complete outlook. Probably.
That's right. They'll get found out week 1 when they lose to the Saints.
This is the thing. Saints go there and absolutely blitz them. What are we saying then?
To be fair, Nick, like it's difficult in that situation with what you saying about Russell Wilson. It's difficult, and it is difficult for me because like I'm talking from a biased perspective on Brady because I'm used to seeing what this guy can do. And like I genuinely believe this. Like from when you watch from when you first saw Brady to when you watch the Brady 6, I think your mentality has changed because you've seen a different side of him.
Yeah, I said that definitely 100%.
And I think I'm a Russell Wilson lover. I think the guy is exceptional. I mean, and I think, but I don't know whether the Super Bowl window has passed for him. It just depends on what they can bring in for him. I think the Seahawks team is always going to be there or thereabouts while Wilson is quarterback. But whether you're a Super Bowl contender is another question. Because the NFC is so strong. That's my point. The NFC
we'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say you're going to be a playoff team every year under Russell Wilson. I don't see that changing. But you got to think as well. The Bucs haven't been to the playoffs in how many years?
10 years, I think. 10, 15.
Again, and that's another thing into the hype. Bucs get to a playoff game.
It's a big pressure, isn't it?
Yes, they've got Brady. Yes, Brady can lift a lot of players, but at the end of the day,
you know what?
Brady can't catch the ball for him. He can only throw it to him.
he also can't prepare them mentally for the playoffs.
This is
and
it.
I think
yeah.
that's the biggest. I think that's my biggest question of the books is when they get to the playoffs. Because I don't know if anybody else, but I believe they're going to be a playoff team. Like generally, like without a fail. I don't see Brady not being in the playoffs. I just don't see it.
Maybe.
But
On the
my
fence.
biggest question is when they get to the playoffs. Is like because we seen it the other year when when the Giants got there and they had OBJ and Sterling Shepard was doing the business and stuff like that, and then they all went partied. They all went and partied out on the beach in Miami, sort of thing. And like now, while I feel like Brady's going to have more of an influence than Bruce Arians because they've been there, they've done it, they've spoken about it. Sue's been in the playoffs. Sue's been to the Super Bowl. It's whether them young players, which it's all about what they believe in and what they can do, and whether they're ready for that moment. And I think we'll learn a lot about the Bucs this year. Not just at, like outside of Brady. I think you learn a lot about your Mike Evanses, your Devin Whites, your Chris Godwins, because Brady isn't bothered who you are. He'll give the ball to everybody. And it's about whether you can take not being the guy.
I don't see an issue with that with Mike Evans because I think he had quite a bit of that last season. To be fair, with God, maybe over the last couple of years with Godwin, and he still managed to put a number.
He seems like one of the good guys in
Yeah, he really does.
football as well, doesn't he? He doesn't. He's not got that arrogance about him. He doesn't have that ego.
He's a professional, isn't he?
Yeah.
Godwin, on the other hand, I think could be
I feel
like
a bit
that.
different about Godwin.
Yeah. Pretty sure he's the opposite. To be fair.
Well, he's done an interview, hasn't he, in the last couple of days? He's been on one of the talk shows this week talking about. I haven't seen the interview. I just know he was on there, so I'm going to catch up on it. But I think that's the biggest question is when you get to the playoffs, that's when the tension turns up and
different mentality. And you look at that Pats mentality, and if you want to sum up a playoff team, if you're building a playoff team, it's like, right, we need to get like that Pats mentality in first, and then we'll build the players. I think it's massive.
But I think Bruce Arians, because he was doing it with Arizona, and I think that's kind of what he's doing though. I think he's bringing in a mentality where it's not acceptable to not be a playoff team. While they didn't manage it last year, you could say, just at the end of last season, when they were talking about James's interceptions, Bruce Arians went, we won X amount of games with this quarterback. Imagine what we can do with a quarterback that don't turn the ball over. Bruce Arians is a savage. He ain't bothered.
Yeah.
And his attitude, he'll instill that onto the players. And then you get a quarterback in that's won things like and been to the very top, but still wants it. I think that mentality itself puts into other players, like you said, if they're in the meeting room and people see Brady studying hard and like his head's in the books, all of a sudden players are going to go, well, if he's doing it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, mate, Ronald Jones fumbled the ball once or made a mistake on a route and Arians dragged him for the rest of the game.
Mate,
and
Belichick
spoke
used
about
to do
it
that
openly in the press conference. I was like,
mate,
Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
mate, Bill Belichick.
I'm not
Bill
sure that's
Belichick a few years ago. We had Stephen Ridley on our books, mate. Stephen Ridley fumbled 4 times in 4 games. Belichick sat him on the bench next to him all season. He didn't touch the field once again. Didn't come back on. He played 4 games. And didn't touch the ball again. And didn't come on the field again.
Madness.
And that's the sort of quarterback where I think that's a massive reason of why Brady has gone to the Bucs, because I think he believes in Bruce Arians as a coach. I think that's a massive thing for it, and I think that's one of the things that will be overlooked. Is people will be talking about Brady getting paid $30 million for 2 years and stuff like that, right? But it's Bruce Arians being there and Brady believing in the coach, because you ain't going to go there if you don't believe that coach can get. No matter how good your team is, your coach has to play a role in it. No matter how good it is, it's the same with you look at how good the Seahawks are because of Pete Carroll. If that's another head coach, just because Russell Wilson's there, they're not guaranteed to win games. It's the same with the Patriots, with Belichick. Look, when Belichick does decide it's time for him to retire, whoever fills them shoes, it's a tough ask. You've got to come in because It's about whether the players still respect you. And I think Bruce Arians has changed people's attitude. Because I don't think they respected Dirk Cutter. I don't think they did.
Nah, definitely not.
And
Definitely.
I think that's an interesting take on Brady. Is like he's looked at it and gone, Bruce Arians, I respect what he's trying to do. I've seen the players. He'll have watched a lot of Bucks games and he'll have looked into Bruce Arians and he'll have looked at it and gone, that's where I can go and be the best me.
Just out of interest, do you think you get a Brady as good as he was last year?
Yes. Okay. Just because of his mentality. Like, it's hard to say what he's going to do physically because of his age and stuff, but just knowing what his mentality is about from what I've spent time watching over the last few months, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
I think the thing with his age, though, like, he's never been mobile anyway. So it's not about his mobility or anything like that. It's just him looking after himself. And he's got this regime he does and all sorts like that. Like, I mean, there's the TB12 method. Like, there's a book on it. Like, and him himself, I think he looks after himself and I think he knows how to look after himself. So I think he's still in a young man's body. And I think the running thing, he's never been able to run anywhere. So, for me, I think you might even get a better Brady than last year. Because he's actually got...
better Brady?
Yeah. I think last year he had Edelman to throw the ball to. Like, this year, Mark Evans, that is a different... I mean, you look at the game when Antonio Brown played for us. Brady was just like, yeah, watch this. Bang, Antonio Brown's got the ball again. Brown's got the ball again. Brown's in the end zone. Look, he has got an absolute monster in Mark Evans. Monster. And Chris Godwin he's there and he's like, I'm a real wide receiver in the NFL. Like, give me the ball. Like, there's two dogs out there. And we know what Gronk can do. Cameron Brate's got a good pair of hands.
Absolutely, especially in the end zone. Like, he's hot.
I think it's not a question of whether Brady's body holds up. I think it depends on how well he's protected.
Yeah, which is always...
Which one's got the biggest season ahead, Saints or Bucks?
Me personally, I think it's us because it's shit or bust for us as a franchise.
I think that's a very, very interesting question because I think you're looking at two quarterbacks, right? Well, because the Bucks haven't been to the playoffs in 10 or 15 years, if they make the playoffs, can they count that as more success?
That's it, yeah.
Whereas the Saints, if the Saints...
They've got to get to the Super Bowl.
They've got to, because Breeze has struggled in the last 2 seasons in the last 6 games of the season. And while I think that they got robbed against the Rams, I mean, there was still a lot of time left on the clock in that game. There's a good chance the Rams could have scored. So I'm not sure how that would have finished. But for me, the Saints have got to be careful on how long Drew Brees can go. While obviously, again, he's not that mobile, he's had a lot of injuries, shoulders, hands, fingers. Like, that's not been Tom Brady at all.
Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood, obviously.
Interesting division.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably the most interesting division this year.
Oh, 100%. But do you not think that that's only because Brady's there? Like, that's the... I mean, if anything...
No, I think it's because the Saints are there as well.
Because...
Without the Saints, it's not an interesting division. Because we've already been through it, the Panthers a bit. This is essentially... It's a win-win for the Panthers this year. However you look at it, it's a win-win. It's a transition season. If the Panthers go 5... if the Panthers get 5 wins, so what? If the Panthers get 3 wins, so what? Like, it's a transitional year. Falcons, no one's expecting them to get to the Super Bowl.
No, but they're expecting them to be better.
They're expecting them to be better, yeah. But then how do you judge them being better this year? Is it just the defense?
Playoffs. They've got to be pushing for playoffs, haven't they? If they miss out on the playoffs by a game, because of the NFC being so strong, you need 10 plus wins to make the playoffs.
Mm.
And 10 wins probably doesn't guarantee you a top spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just think that battle, the Saints Bucks this year, I think that's what makes this division the most interesting one. And I think it helps that the Saints have just been the nearly team for the last 5 or so years, or however long it's been.
Is it this year that there's an extra playoff team?
I think it is.
I'm not sure.
I think it is this year, yeah.
Because they might have added a spot this year, so it goes to 7 each now, I believe.
It is this year.
I believe it's this year, because there's an extra game next year, and I'm sure the extra playoff spot is this year. Somebody will have to check that out.
I'm just double checking now.
Because that makes it interesting. Because seedings become massive then. Not that they're not massive anyway, but seedings in the NFC, you could have some horrible places to go to. And I think that's another thing as well. Is Brady's got an experience now where when he goes on the road, he's going to be facing some big time quarterbacks, big time. I mean, in the NFC, he only had to worry about in the AFC really if he had to go on the road. But I'm on about in the playoffs. If we had to go on the road, it was Big Ben, and recently Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Well, I don't think he'd have feared going to play Lamar Jackson because of how he's fared in the playoffs previously. But Patrick Mahomes recently, obviously, Big Ben, Roethlisberger, and Peyton Manning. They're the only 3 quarterbacks he's looked at and gone, well, I've got to go to him if we don't go right. Especially when he was in Denver, we had to go to him to win, sort of thing. But this time he could have to go to San Francisco and play Garoppolo. He could have to go to Green Bay and play Aaron Rodgers. He could have to go to the Saints for a 3rd time and play Drew Brees. Could have to go to Seattle and play Russell Wilson.
It is this year, by the way.
It is, yeah. So that's an interesting one. And the only
team gets a bye.
Yeah, it's the number 1 seed, isn't it, that gets a ball?
Yeah, that's right.
Look forward to it.
But that. So you look at that now. You've got to play. You could have to play 3 games before you get to the championship game.
Good for us fans.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anybody that loves playoff football. I'm a lover of the playoffs.
How will that affect fantasy?
It's still a 16-game season. Of
course. Yeah, it makes no odds, does it? Yeah, it makes no odds.
No. But it's an interesting one.
Just read an interesting stat, Liam. Teddy Bridgewater put 314 yards and 4 touchdowns up against us last year.
Interesting.
Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. He did have Mark Thomas. but he went to the Bears and won. But the defense was exceptional on that day. I think Teddy Bridgewater was quite good, but I definitely disagree with Liam that they're going to take a quarterback. That he's not the guy they're looking at. I don't think that at all.
Fair enough.
But
yeah, I think so. Okay. Rankings of the NFC South. What are we saying? Who thinks who's finishing where?
Saints,
Bucks,
Falcons, Panthers. Yeah.
Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Panthers.
I'm obviously agreeing with Beavs on that one because I'm a Bucks fan. But yeah, what I will say, regardless of the 14-2, if we beat the Saints first game, I think we'll go 6-0 in that division.
I think that
You said
I'll
last
allow
week you'll lose a game to us.
Change my mind.
Nah.
And it could change next week as well.
Yeah, that's true. Flip flop again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then. That was a roundup of the NFC South.
Next week, we're going to be focusing on the NFC East, also known as the NFC Least. And we will have some special guests on next week.
Yes, we will. Should we wait till next week to just bring them on?
Yeah, we'll reveal them next week. We'll
Cool.
reveal them next week.
Cool. Bees, yeah, or Liam, Nick, anyone, if you just want to give people a quick who don't know who the NFC East consists of.
Yeah, the NFC least, as Bees finally put it then. It's the New York Giants, Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowgirls, and Philadelphia Eagles.
There you are.
I'm interested to talk about them before next week, and I'm interested to get the perspective of the boys.
Yeah, definitely. That would be interesting, especially one of them because he loves to talk smack. But
Which one?
Oh, that's true. Actually, yeah. The other one's just a bit conceited, isn't he? But he's very.
I don't know. The one of them suffered for a long time with them Redskins, mate.
Again, which one?
With the Redskins.
Are we getting all of them on?
All three are available and ready.
Okay, cool. That would
Only
be
one
funny.
team unrepresented.
That would be funny.
Oh,
But
yeah,
we can have them.
I'm happy to talk. Don't know if you've ever noticed that, anyone.
Nah, never.
Who supports the other team? We got anyone?
We
No,
don't
we
have the
haven't.
Giants, Redskins, and
Eagles, yeah, we ain't got nobody for the Cowgirls.
Cowgirls.
I can talk Cowgirls football.
I don't actually know any Cowboys fans over here.
I don't think I do either, actually.
If anyone on our followers wants to get involved next Sunday,
Yeah.
hit us up.
Yeah, this is a call out for a Cowboys fan. We're probably not going to come on if we call them the Cowgirls.
Yeah, we promise we'll try and limit the amount of cowgirl chance we give.
I promise if you come on and talk about the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to tee off on you. I'm going in on Dak Prescott. I'm going in on Andy Dalton. I'm going in on Jerry Jones. I'm going in on your whole team. And the hiring of Mike McCarthy. I'm going in on the lot.
I look forward
and that's
to
next week, guys.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Are we just moving on to a quick roundup of news around the NFL? Because there was one quite significant story we're going to explain to Nick.
Oh,
What
this
else
is a
was there,
great
Liam?
story.
I'll let Liam do the rundown.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that happened over the last week. One of them being a couple of the NFL players have got arrested for armed robbery.
There's a lot of things involving guns lately, isn't there?
I think we'll finish with that one. I think we should finish with that one. Obviously, Ed Oliver got arrested this week for a DWI, and he was found in possession of a gun illegally.
Do you remember the first or the second week when I said that not much goes on off the field for NFL players? I take it all back.
Hey, it's going off.
So,
But
Ed Oliver, he had a can of beer between his legs and a gun on it in his was it in his glove box or on his passenger seat? One of them.
Yeah.
And apparently they think he wasn't just alcohol that was in his system when he did his breath.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions being asked there.
What a div! What an absolute div! This is his second year now, isn't it?
Yeah.
He got picked 7th overall last year, I think.
Do you know the thing is like all he's doing is hurting his paycheck because like he's a really talented player. There's no way they're going to do anything else but look at him and go, well, what they're doing is they've got a bargaining chip now, haven't they, for when it comes to contract talks, because they're going to have to pay Josh Allen next year. So in their conversation, I mean, Nick's confused. Nick, they're not going to put Jake from him.
Yes, they will.
But no,
games in.
Okay, we're just going to leave the creepy voice, but no, but generally, I bet you did. No, but generally, I look at it and I think that all he's doing is hurting his contract talks, because all they're going to do is go, well, you had this incident, we're not going to pay you that much because obviously you've got some problems off the field. Because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, they'd probably put it down to a misdemeanor in the end of it. But again, it's a question of off the field antics. So it's a weird one.
Baldy.
Another bit of news actually this week that I heard that I forgot to mention earlier was apparently in the DeAndre Hopkins trade. I don't know if you've seen this, Carl, but Bill O'Brien had a meeting with DeAndre Hopkins, and in the meeting he said the only other time he's had to have a conversation with a player like this was Aaron Hernandez.
Really?
Yeah. And
no,
apparently,
actually, I think I do. I remember seeing that somewhere for some reason.
I'm sure it was Pat McAfee who spoke about it.
It must have been, yeah. I
Hello.
don't think I cottoned on to what it was about.
And he was saying that apparently DeAndre Hopkins went to this meeting and Bill O'Brien basically compared him to Aaron Hernandez, but DeAndre Hopkins has never got in any off-field
In what sense?
incidents.
I was thinking this, but apparently he's not, like, because even on the pitch he seems quite what's the word? He's quite chilled, isn't he?
Humble?
Even though he's quite humble, but apparently he's not like that at all.
He's saying
Apparently
he's a
the
big
opposite. Apparently he's a dick.
dick. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you reckon he's a bit of prima donna?
maybe, but maybe he has been in trouble and he's just, he's covered his tracks.
I mean, if anyone's got a reason
makes
to, with the incident that happened to his mum where she got acid through in her face and she's now legally blind because of that, is a good reason he's probably got a chip on his shoulder because he's doing everything to, every time he scores a touchdown, he finds her to give her the ball that he scored with.
See, this is what I don't understand, because even when I've seen him doing interviews that aren't related to NFL or any sort of football, he seems really humbled. But there's so many people that say he might just be playing up to the cameras essentially.
Yeah, that's where he's got an ego, hasn't he? Because he got I think it was a few years ago when they were on Hard Knocks, and it was the Texans and the Redskins were in a preseason, they were training together, sort of thing, like a training camp thing. And him and D'Angelo Hall had a massive scrap.
Yeah.
Because D'Angelo Hall was running his mouth, Hopkins was running his mouth. But so Bill O'Brien called him into a meeting and said that compared him to Aaron Hernandez, even though he'd never been in any off-field stuff and all this, and it didn't sit well with DeAndre Hopkins at all. So apparently that's where
massive
it was fueled
thing
from.
to say.
Yeah, it's huge.
For those that don't know, I mean, if
you want to
haven't
rattle
watched
someone,
that is the fucking you've got the trump card there, haven't you?
Yeah,
you are Aaron Hernandez.
So apparently that didn't sit well at all with.
I'm not surprised.
DeAndre Hopkins, which I can understand.
Imagine being told you remind me of Aaron Hernandez. What do you say to that?
Right, it was mad.
That what? I cannot kill anybody.
For those that don't know, Aaron Hernandez unfortunately he's passed away now. He killed himself in his cell. He was facing 2 life sentences for murder, which he was found guilty of. He was going to prison. He was trying to fight it, but there is a documentary about it on Netflix. It's a great documentary.
It's good too.
Well worth a watch. I think it's only 3 episodes, but it's well worth a watch. And you should definitely give it a watch if you want some context into that story. Anyway, and moving on, Matthew Stafford sold his house in Detroit.
Yeah, he did.
I haven't even seen this one.
His wife's come out and said that it's because they're having their 4th or 5th child, and they want to not necessarily downsize, but they want to be somewhere where there isn't a swimming pool because they've got small children.
They've got a swimming pool and a lake.
That is what you call NFL quarterback life problems, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They've got a swimming pool and a lake around their house.
No, I can completely understand.
So they're saying they're moving for protection reasons.
Yeah, I can completely understand her train of thought with this answer to this line of questioning. However, it does scream to me that Matthew Stafford is looking elsewhere. Personally.
New England.
I wonder, yeah,
was one of.
It's an easy comeback, isn't it? We're having a new
wherever he
child.
buys his next house is going to give you a good insight.
Because they're all, I think people could be reading into this story though.
Absolutely.
Slightly because. Well, no, I think that people are reading into this story because Brady
Stafford
sold
could
his
go
house.
and Cam could go Detroit.
I think because Brady sold his house, people are looking at
Comparison.
It's an easy comparison, isn't it?
the comparison. Because Brady sold his house a year before he moved.
Yeah, it's very close to the season, isn't it? To like what 12 weeks, 13 weeks to uproot your fucking family.
Yep,
To move across the country.
definitely.
I don't know. It could be a really genuine response, but I was just like, well, it's quite easy to not have them around the pool. You've done it for the last 10 years. Like,
Yeah, your other three kids have been
to the
fine.
kids. You're not allowed in the pool.
Yeah.
Your other three
Cough back
kids have managed to do it as well. Your other three kids have managed to do it.
Yeah, you're going to have a newborn baby that isn't magically going to be able to start crawling to the pool at fucking 2 weeks old. Like, it's not going to happen.
Is it one of them though where if there
Can we
was
start
something
questioning the
in
parenting?
it, they wouldn't have come out and said that they're moving? Do you not think?
What was
What's
that?
that, sorry?
If there was something in it, like reading between the lines, would they have come out and said, like, and announced that they're moving house and things, or would it got out? Would they have just sort of kept it under wraps if they were genuinely like, if Matt was literally there thinking,
Was it a leak though?
we
I don't know, man. I think
If it was
I don't
a
know
leak,
how
then
I
it's
don't know
out,
how
you
it
can't
come
have it.
about. I don't know how the story come about. I'm not sure.
no, nor am I. But
although, if it did leak and you had to come up with an excuse on the spot, that's quite a good excuse.
I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford is pretty recognisable, and if you see a for sale sign on his house,
Yeah,
I mean, there can't be many houses that have got a lake on them.
Well, you wouldn't have
Depends
thought
if it is
so,
in the
but
middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's Detroit, mate. But Matt Stafford. I mean, I don't want to hear any. I won't bag on him if he decides to leave the Detroit Lions. He actually played with a broken back last year. You think he played like a 5 or 6 game spell where he had 2 bones broken in his back? Could you imagine the pain he was on? And he was just getting beat up every week.
I just find it mad, absolutely mad that any medical professional at that height of the sport endorses someone playing.
With a broken back.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I think he missed like the last 6 games of the season or last 5 games of the season, but he'd been injured for weeks.
It's crazy.
Like,
maybe that's why he's leaving, because of the doctor.
because he's sick of it.
Fucking making me play with a broken back, you bastards. I'm going to New England. I'm going to Boston.
Welcome to Boston. No, saying that, I think
Belichick won't do that to me.
No. We've got Stidham, mate.
But you wouldn't start Stafford over
I
Stidham.
like Matt Stafford. That arm's ridiculous. However, he was trash when we saw him live in England. He was so bad, wasn't he, Nick?
It's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so bad when we saw him live.
Yeah.
Smith went much better either for the Chiefs.
No, it was a bad game to watch, that was.
Yeah.
Good game to be at, but a bad game to watch. So do we get on to the main news now?
Is that the main story, is it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on,
Quinton Dunbar and is it Deandre Baker?
DeAndre Baker, yeah.
Can I just ask,
Deandre Baker.
just give me a little bit of background information about these two players as NFL players, because I don't know anything about them at all, other than who they play for.
Well, DeAndre Baker, last year was his first year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going into his 2nd year of his contract.
Jesus fucking Christ, what a moron.
And he plays for the Giants as well. So, like, he is, like, in main media place. Like, he's, like, and that's the thing. New York is alive, kicking, and everything.
Where did this happen, by the way?
I'm not sure.
I'm just looking now.
I'm not sure.
Florida.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
Baker's at the Giants.
and Dunbar
Is that Seattle?
Seattle.
Yeah,
So he lives as far west as you can go in the country,
from Florida.
and the other lives as far east as you can go. And they both met up in pretty much as far south as you can go. And robbed some people and tried to shoot.
Well, no. Wait. So they've been arrested. They've both been arrested for armed robbery. Right.
Jesus.
Armed
Christ.
robbery.
Good social distancing, isn't it?
Deandre Baker is facing up to 15 years in prison if
Did they
found guilty.
drive?
Yeah.
To Florida. Does anyone know if that actually?
Mate, so the rumor is they've been in. The story is
They must have.
they've been in Florida for a couple of weeks.
They're not. Are they flying domestic still in the US?
Yeah.
I'm not.
America. Yeah.
They're both
shitloads of
both Miami. They're both Miami natives.
Yeah, so they probably live
A
there.
little bit of sense then. Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently, the rumors are that they've been in Florida. They've been in obviously Florida while the lockdown's going on, but they're like to.
Sorry to cut you off again, Beaves. Did they know each other? Did they go to school together?
Yeah, no, together? I don't know about that, but they're just friends.
Okay.
There's 5 years between them, so I don't know.
No, they're just friends. I don't know if they went to school together, but they might have just known each other anyway. But so they've gone to play some card games, which is called a cookout. So they've gone to this cookout and they're playing cards, and apparently they lost 70 grand a couple of nights before, or the week before.
Didn't know that.
And then they got invited to another game. And so if you're thinking about it, 70 grand on the table. They've made 18 million. The pair of them have between them in the last 2 years.
How much?
18 million in the last year. They've made 9 million each.
So this is what I was trying to work out. I was thinking they must be not on a great contract to have been pushed to have done this. But clearly,
I think Dunbar's getting 18 million for a 2-year contract with Seattle.
Well, I changed my mind. I thought they must be on decent money when I realised what cars they were getting. They were driving away.
We'll get to that bit.
So inconspicuous.
So they're apparently they were making 9 million apiece last year.
Fucking hell.
Obviously they've lost 70 grand. So apparently they've gone to
the ocean.
Apparently they've gone to another cookout to play some more cards, and the pot must have been massive. But the rumours are that whoever lost didn't want to pay up the rest of it. So Deandre Baker and Dunbar have got guns out of the cars and held people up at gunpoint. There's a third guy there as well who had a mask on. They're holding people up at gunpoint. They're taking jewellery, purses, or money and stuff like that. So they were making off.
It was like 15 grand, no, 10 grand in cash and a 25G roller.
And there was other parts of jewellery there. So they were making around 40 grand's worth of jewellery and a 10 grand in cash.
Well, from what I've just read, it looks like they had the guns on them already.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the report, at a party, Baker flipped over a table and decided to pull out his gun, and then him, Dunbar, and a third person then started, as you just said, taking cash from valuables from people.
But then it was Dunbar or Baker?
Baker. So Baker was telling Dunbar to go and collect the jewellery and stuff from people while he was holding them at gunpoint. Then they apparently he told the third guy to shoot
one of them. Yeah, he said kill him, like shoot him,
to show that they were real about what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to jump in 3 different cars to get away. One of them was a Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure one of them was a Bugatti.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the third one was.
The other one was a BMW i8.
It's like, what's going on? I can't believe no one's just going to tell him. Like, you know your NFL players, right? Like, this is going to get out.
Yeah.
Mate, so
I just looked out the window, it's like, and you're fucking driving that? Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, so not only have
before, have you?
Not only have they jumped into but they're being linked to Baker's being linked to like 4 other armed robberies.
Yeah, I read that.
Oh man.
Just read, yeah. 4 counts of hang on.
Armed
4
robbery.
counts of. Just had it. Just got it. 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm / intent to commit a felony.
Yeah, because because apparently if he's found guilty and it is a semi-automatic weapon, he's going to prison for 15 years.
Yeah.
That's the minimum sentence.
I know they've
What
both
are you
been
doing?
they've both been released on bail as of
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, because somebody's bailed them out and all that sort of stuff. But like when you look at it, right, they've made 9 million each last year, and they've just held people up at gunpoint and then drove off in the getaway cars were Lamborghinis.
I mean, as far as
WYA.
getaway cars go, it's
Yeah, yeah. If you want a police chase, they're probably the best
it's
cars to
running away in
have.
style, isn't it?
Mate,
If you're gonna do it
Mate,
right.
let's be real. Let's be real. That game of cards they were at, ain't nobody calling the police there.
No.
Ain't nobody calling the police until after the fact and after they've gone. Like,
After all that cash has been removed.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd just be
Put that away.
interested to know
Got
whether
any cupboards?
it's whether it's down to lack of money and they've squandered a load of money between them over the past few years, or it's just down to the fact that they're thugs and it's what it is.
Do you think this is just the first time they've been caught? Like, it's not necessarily the first time they've done it.
I do personally, yeah.
For the life of me.
Apparently, yeah, there's been 5 witnesses who have cleared Dunbar. Apparently,
Yeah, but I mean,
they've said he's in. He's in.
Not easy to pick up the phone and say, "Do you want 100 grand?"
And
I don't know what was with you last night, were you?
Yeah, that's true.
The thing for me is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
I think the thing about NFL players, a lot of people need to realise this as well is, and this is going back to the Aaron Hernandez thing.
Yeah, I was gonna.
A lot of these lads, the way they're brought up,
they're a product of their upbringing.
Yeah, they come from bad neighbourhoods where there's shootings and stuff like that.
And all that, innit?
Oh yeah, and it's rife.
No, Florida's a fucking hotspot for it over the last 5 to 6 years. Like
that's exactly what I was gonna say, mate. That Florida, it's known for it, and like this is no excuse though. Like
no,
you're an NFL player at the end of the day.
Role model, should be.
You're living somebody else's dream.
I mean, who's looking at 15?
Deandre Baker.
What? How old's he?
That's his second. So he's going
the
into
one
his
at the
second year or
Giants,
third year. Yeah,
He's 22.
Right.
22 years old.
He'll end up dead if he goes to prison, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, whether that's from himself or someone else. Like
mate.
squandering a $9 million contract to rob money, being involved in all that sort of stuff, it's going to come around and bite it one way. Whether it's from him or someone else, he'll end up.
It's a card game as well.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Really sad to say.
It's scary. Like,
one of the best quarterbacks that came out of that draft as well.
Fucking
like,
hell, man.
I watched him play at UJ and he was fucking good.
It's mad. Absolutely mad. Like, especially if nothing happens to him from someone else, he'll realise when he's in prison, like, what the fuck have I done? And that'll be it.
I think like, and the sad
moving forward.
Yeah.
I think the sad thing is, like, I mean, I think that's what happened with Aaron Hernandez. He couldn't get away from the gang ties he had when he was younger, and like,
sounds like a similar situation, mate.
It was always, and the worry is like that, like it's just not, it's not good. Like,
no. This isn't like kids that have been at college and they're about to get into the draft and something happens with injuries or they get into trouble because they never actually got there. Like, this is someone that's actually there, got the money on the table, and he doesn't realise what he's lost yet. As soon as he does, like, it will fuck him up massively.
That's what I mean, mate.
Having decent careers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing for the Giants, who are a young team anyway. Things can only get better for where you are.
You're in New York alone.
You've got a great chance to make a name for yourself. And instead of making a name for yourself on the field, you're now in the press for being with armed robberies. Like, it's not good.
No.
And look, hopefully, it doesn't end up the way that Aaron Hernandez did. Hopefully it's not true. Hopefully he's just like being blown out of proportion.
There is that possibility.
But I pray that for his mental sake that he doesn't take the Aaron Hernandez route. And,
No, of course, nobody wants that.
Because again, it's a harsh reality on the families, and it's a tough thing.
True, but you don't. If it is true, and he has been doing it,
He deserves the
all
time.
the time, and he deserves the time. Like, no, I don't want anyone to fucking kill himself.
No, and
Regardless.
that's what my biggest thing for me is. I hope that if they do end up going to prison for it, that he serves his time, comes out the other side.
That's the only outcome you'd want.
Yeah. If he's guilty of doing it, go to prison. Do your time. I ain't bothered who you are. And fortunately enough, he ain't a big enough name where that plays a role anyway.
Yeah.
But like in America, they seem pretty cutthroat anyway. They ain't bothered who you are.
True.
To be honest, I think they'll do time, probably some form of time, regardless, because even if nothing necessarily happened, something happened for them to be an accessory of it. So surely
that is true.
Do you know what I mean?
That is true. I think
even if it's a what's it called, reduced sentence or something.
Yeah,
like that,
I can probably see that happening. Like, I thought we would get 15 years.
Yeah, if it was the third guy, for example, that was doing the whole thing, and they were kind of.
What you'll probably find is that they're already conspired with him, and they're already paying him off to take the rap for it. Probably.
Yeah, no, mate. Like there was an incident with.
Unless he turns around and says "fuck no."
Well, I mean, there's all the rumours about the Ray Lewis one. They reckon Ray Lewis paid his friends off.
Mate, it'd be happening left, right, and centre. Left, right, and centre.
Mate, they reckon that Ray Lewis.
There'll be loads of people in the spotlight, like rappers and whatever, that are getting caught left, right, and centre. I've watched it happen on YouTube, and the police avidly wait for someone else to pull up so they can put it on them. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
Mate, the Ray Lewis one, they reckon that Ray Lewis paid his friends to go to prison for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens, and I mean, it's a scary thought, but if you're stupid enough to put yourself in them situations, more for you.
Do you know what? It's the last few weeks, like you said, it's been going crazy. Like, I'm wondering what's going to happen by next Sunday. I'm going to have a gun-related incident.
Well, I did say to you, like, I said to you last week, I was like, we need something that's going to have a catchy title and what's been happening in the news, and then it's all gone off.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Ed Oliver drinking and driving.
And there's a gun in the glove box.
Yeah. These two armed robbery over a bloody poker game, by the sound of it. Thomas last week banging his mistress with his brother.
I mean, the funny thing about the Earl Thomas thing was, Earl Thomas has tweeted out this week, he's been stiff-armed by Derek Henry. He weren't that scared of the gun. He weren't that scared of the gun. He was more scared of the fact he got stiff-armed by Derek Henry.
That was funny.
That has tickled me this week. That made me happy this week, seeing that. So. But, I think that's all the news this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Been crazy. Has anyone got anything to add?
No, I think that's it, mate. Looking forward to next week when we talk about the NFC least.
Same.
Big week next week.
Massively.
Interesting week.
Hopefully, when I upload the video on Tuesday, we'll have our new logo. Providing everyone's happy with it.
Yeah. And we got our special guest for next week.
Yeah. I've already been looking at potential merchandise. Just for us four. Just for some T-shirts, because they're pretty cheap. The ones I was looking at, just to have a look at. Be interesting. So, yeah.
Merchandise.
Definitely. That's what one of the they were the most expensive. They're more expensive than T-shirts.
Wow.
I know, pissed me off.
It's easy to print a T-shirt nowadays, though, isn't it?
That's true. That is true. So, yes, it has been fantastic again, gentlemen.
Always a pleasure.
I'm interested to see how next week's going to work with 7 of us. It should be fun. I don't imagine I'll get a word in edgewise, to be honest. So I might just sit here and just let you all go at it.
I'm just gonna sit back until the Redskins pop up, and I'll put one thing in, then I'll leave.
I mean, I speak a lot anyway, so I'll just apologise to everyone for that.
Yeah, nah, it's fine.
They have to listen to more shit most of the week. So,
but yeah, hope everyone's enjoyed the podcast and everyone's doing well. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe. Obviously, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we'll have the logo sorted for Tuesday. See you all next week. Peace.
Peace. See
Take it
you
easy.
later.